Welcome everyone to Comics from the Multiverse Annual number 8.
That's too many.
Hell, 8.
I am Peter, and joining me, as always, is Matt.
Hey, what's up?
And your eyes do not deceive you, or your ears for that matter, because he couldn't keep his mouth shut for more than 3 seconds. Connor's here.
In my defense, 8. When did that happen? Don't answer that.
Well, we started in 2016.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, look at it this way, it's the start of the 8th year. We're not at the end of the 8th year, we're just starting the 8th year.
I mean, what, halfway surely from when we actually started?
Sure, but it's, you know, like just...
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. We're all dying. It's okay. But yes, well...
Some a little faster than others.
Yeah.
Which one are you implying is dying faster than the other two?
There's only one option. He's never here. So
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Well, hang on. Who's the oldest here?
yeah, and who's the strongest? I might be the oldest, but I'm definitely the strongest.
I'm saying you're more likely to die first.
I know some of Pete's habits. I mean,
What? What, my non-drinking habits?
I don't know. You don't strike me. I mean, you read a lot of comics, watch a lot of movies, play a lot of games, Pete. I'm
So
just
you
saying.
don't do a lot of exercise.
I go
You know.
walks.
Yeah. So
So the shop doesn't count.
No, I just go walks for the sake of walks. I make a habit of it. Admittedly, it's the winter, so it's a little bit more hit and miss this time of
Yeah.
year. But
Yeah.
summer's pretty good. I'm usually quite good at walking in the summer. Anyway, we're not here to judge my lifestyle choices.
Then why am I here?
we're here to judge Connor and his lack of comic reading as of late.
Look, we all know out of the three of us which one of us has the worst liver. Okay, right?
I mean, we don't know that for sure.
It's not a contest. It's like he won it. It's a sweepstakes. They're just giving it to him.
All right, welcome everyone. It is the annual episode of the show, which is us looking back at the year that was and picking the best stuff of the year. The format's pretty set in stone at this point. I don't even have to think about it. Usually I have to go back and check what we did the last year, but I remembered this time. So
We only took 8 of them.
yeah, well, you know, we do discussions on a few categories. We do best artist, best writer, we'll do disappointments, and then we'll sit and debate the top 10 of the year. For the categories, we just kind of like throw in suggestions, then each pick our own sort of winner, right? So we'll all have a best writer, a best artist, so on. But when we get to the top 10, we're actually assembling a top 10 for the show, so we have to actually debate that out and, you know, tell Connor to shut up. So
Probably.
that's what the show is, but also just generally reminisce about anything DC Comics related in the last year. 2023. It always varies a little bit when we get this recorded. Last year I checked, it was January 14th this went out, so it was a little bit later. Whereas this year we're recording it between Christmas and New Year. So yeah, full disclosure, technically there is 1 week of comics that is not being included in this because of when we could record this.
Hey, what's in that? Are there any world beaters for all we know?
I don't know.
Yeah, the Action
Awards.
Annual. You have Tech.
Yeah, but to be fair, these are comics that are pretty well represented throughout the year, so we know our feelings on them at this point.
Hey, Green Arrow 7 could change your mind on that whole series.
I very much doubt it.
I'm just saying it could.
I'm just saying Green Arrow will be talked about.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder which
Yeah.
category Green Arrow brought up in. Yes. This is the year where every DC Comics movie that came out underperformed, if not outright bombed. That was 2023.
Is Blue Beetle the only one that didn't bomb?
That still bombed, did it not?
I thought it just underperformed. Maybe I'm misremembering. That was a while ago.
It only made 25 million its opening weekend. That feels pretty bomb-esque to me.
Yeah, it was a lot lower budget than the others, though, wasn't it?
I mean, I guess comparatively, but I mean, Flash didn't do well. Shazam 2
No.
didn't do well. I think that was this year.
Aquaman is dead in the water.
Oh, very good. Give him a round of applause.
This is what you miss when I'm not here.
Yeah. Joke of the day. Very good. Yeah, not Marvel's doing much better this year. Frankly, it's been rough times out there for the comic book movies.
Am I the only one here that has seen some of the DC movies?
This
year?
I've not seen any of them, so
Yeah,
probably.
me either.
Okay.
Yeah.
I only saw a trailer for Aquaman last week, and I was like, oh my god, it is real.
Do you know? I don't think I have actually.
I saw it when I went to see Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
They showed a trailer before it, and I was like, oh, it's a real movie.
Can I just say, getting the trailer for Godzilla Cross Kong when I was seeing -1 was kind of weird because I'm like, shit, I'm here to see a Godzilla movie and I'm getting a trailer for a Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
So
That's cool though. I like that.
Whale times. So yeah, I mean the fact that the success rate of us even seeing these movies on this show is pretty bad, which is a bad indicator of how things are.
I remember it was the Connor not seeing Shazam was the controversy.
It was the start. It was the start of the whole thing.
Like,
I'm
I
a
remember
trailblazer.
that. And now I didn't see any of them in the theater. I waited I watched 2. I watched Blue Beetle and Shazam 2.
If there's any of the bunch that are out that I've not seen that I'm remotely likely to watch anytime soon, it's going to be Black Adam, because I think that's the one, not that it's the best, but it's the one I would have the most fun with.
Although notably not a 2023 release.
No, but out of all the DC movies I've not seen, because that was kind of pretty much when I gave up.
Yeah. You're better off not.
Yeah, I didn't want to
But it has
start.
Pierce Brosnan as Fate.
I didn't want to start with the negativity, but I feel like this is spinning us into that sort of feeling anyway. So I guess we'll start with the disappointments of the year and get that started.
As if Matt didn't already mention one.
Maybe.
I don't even have that on my short list. I had 3 things written down, and I didn't even think to put Green Arrow.
Yeah, well, so here's the thing. Is it disappointing to us or in the general? Like, did we have to believe that it was going to be good to be disappointed, or can it just be something that,
I mean, this is
petered
kind
out?
of disappointing / bad. So it's kind of anything that's like a negative mark on the year.
I think it's disappointing because, we haven't had a Green Arrow solo book in a little while, so I was looking forward to that. Obviously, Williamson's hit or miss, but you still hope for the better. And then just the fact that it was not just didn't live up to expectations, but it was just actively bad. I think that definitely falls into it was a disappointment.
Yeah, I guess I would say it's a disappointment for the first point you made, because we've not had a Green Arrow book in a while. We want one to be good, but it's not a disappointment in the sense of like, once I saw Williamson's name, it was like, well, expectations are. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, like, honestly, the biggest disappointment overall for me is collectively Night Terrors.
I've got that written down. Night
Because
Terrors.
that was 2 months of bollocks. It was, I said beforehand, I'm getting Convergence vibes. I feel that way now, where like everything, like pretty much everything just stopped for 2 months. We had a few books, don't get me wrong, so it was a little bit better than Convergence, but for all intents and purposes, I've wasted 2 months of publishing time of the year.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem to do anything but provide Dr. Hate.
The only thing I liked in that 2 months, again, not including the few books that were like Black Label or whatever that still came out, was the 2 issues of Detective Comics Night Terrors. It was the only one out of the entire catalogue that felt like it was an interesting story. Everything else was just...
Some of them had an okay first part, but not a second part to back it up. I'm thinking like Zatanna.
Too many of, as it has a good example, too many of them were, hey, that one thing from the character's origin story, they're having a nightmare about it. Bruce Wayne seeing the pearls fall to the alley ground.
Oh my god, the giant pearls.
The gun bat.
Nightwing seeing his parents fall from the high wire, and I don't know. It's like all of it is just boiled down.
I will say with the gun bat there, if the entire like issue had leaned into that insanity, like true nightmarish, just weird stuff, I could kind of get on board with it. but it was just like one or two things at the start of the issue, and then it was just kind of mostly normal, which made it pointless.
Yeah. Oh, Halcyon Abensur crash land again. Oh,
I don't even. I know I read those. I don't remember them.
Here's the thing. It reminds me a lot, actually. I know why you're compared to Convergence because a lot of the books stopped for 2 months, but it actually reminds me a little bit more of when they did those gimmick months every September, the New 52, because it was very repetitive. When they all had zero issues, or they all had villain issues, it felt like we were reading the same gimmick
That's fair.
every issue.
Yeah. But at least they were only 1 month and not 2.
I mean, yeah, that's better. That's objectively better. I can't deny that.
Fair.
But anyway, yeah, Night Terrors was one of the first things I had written down. Same along the same lines. It wasn't as bad, right? There was some interesting things here or there throughout it, but right at the start of the year we had Lazarus Planet, which was like a 2-month event thing.
I think it was like the first half, maybe 2/3 of it was fine, and then by the end, it became clear there is no resolution to this. It's just set up for the next thing, and it didn't even try to have a resolution of its own.
No, because it was a setup event. Like, I'm using event loosely here because we're still getting stuff popping up in Beast World that were things from Lazarus Planet.
It set up
Like,
something else
story
first,
beats.
right? More directly, right? What was that? Because you
so
had the Batman and Robin thing that went into Lazarus Planet,
Uh-huh.
and then Lazarus Planet went into something else. I'm sure
I mean,
something Williamson-y.
No, that was Night Terrors.
Oh, is there not something in between?
I don't think so.
I don't know. When would this have roughly have been, Connor? I've got the big list of timestamps from the show. I can check
It would have
this.
been early couple of months.
There was Lazarus Planet, Revenge of the Gods, that came after. I don't think I
We're
read
still
that
dealing
one.
with stuff from that.
Would have been like March-ish, I imagine.
I'm in April just now, so I would still expect to see it. I'm not seeing anything in that kind of event slot on the timestamps.
Maybe it was something in a Batman book.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, that was the other obvious pick. And then I think the thing that... Honestly, I'm having a hard time for me personally deciding between Night Terrors and what I'm about to say, which is Chip Zdarsky on Batman. Mm-hmm. I think
that's more disappointing, but not worse.
it's been such a wet fart of a comic book run.
Like, it's not even fun bad to read. There's at least the Night Terror stuff would delve into fun bad. Where you're just like, what am I reading?
Yeah.
The Zdarsky Batman run is just kind of, it's stuff we've seen before, and it's not particularly done in a way that makes it feel like it's worth reading. So
It's just his voice for the character is just off a little bit, like all the time. We have that multiverse arc that just kind of felt like it was a lot of fluff to have that issue 900 where he was seeing tons of Batmans and so on.
Yeah. Do you know
now
what?
we have
Like,
a ton of Zernars running
I've been
around.
spending the last like week or so like catching up on a lot of books that I was behind on, and I'm getting there. I've not touched Batman yet. I'm still at the end. I got the last couple issues of Gotham War between that and Catwoman to go. I'm putting it off because I don't want to do it. I don't want to read it.
I mean,
There's another disappointment. Like 1A was Gotham War essentially just becoming a Vandal Savage thing.
yeah, it was so weird. It's like, yeah, the actual
like-
concept of this book doesn't
Yeah.
matter
Yeah.
anymore. It's just Vandal Savage
Yeah.
now.
Because the concept, while a little bit silly with the way Zdarsky and Howard set it up, I think there's a decent story to tell in there, and then it just does it. It goes, oh, the villains get Batman's gear, and because Vandal Savage gave it to him because he bought the Wayne Manor, and it's just like, what happened? What, like, did I miss something? And it was like, no.
Just happened. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to mention that separately. I was just kind of lumping that into Zdarsky's Batman run. 'Cause
It absolutely is. It was more just I just don't want to catch up on it because I know even after I get after Gotham War, I doubt it gets much better because I have no reason to believe it's significantly better.
It's actually been surprisingly good after Gotham War, Connor.
Yeah, I totally believe you.
You should read it.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna read
Yeah.
it. I'm
Yeah,
gonna read it anyway. You know that.
yeah, read it.
Just gonna put it off.
It'll be the last thing he reads. No. We're still reading it.
We're still reading it. Just that it's more of a morbid curiosity at this point. It's along the lines with me with Green Arrow. Is I'm in, I'm still gonna read it until I get too bogged down. You know.
I just
No, and I've got 3 issues of Green Arrow to catch up on as well.
I will tell you, at least if you want to catch up, I'm the only one reading Green Arrow, right? So if you want to catch up to Batman, that's I wouldn't with Green Arrow. It's a lot unless you're really really missing Ollie. I wouldn't. It's a mess.
Maybe I'll save the half an hour on those 3 issues.
Yeah.
Matt's pulling a Man of Steel pack-in with the hand out, like, no. Just don't.
But this one actually makes sense. I'm trying to help Connor.
Batman's the car crash book for me right now, which is at least interesting enough to complain about. And it is one of the most prominent DC books, so it feels like, I'm not going to read all prominent DC books if they're all shit, but at least that on its own's happy enough to just slot it into the rotation. But it's definitely up there on the disappointments for me. We got any other ones that we want to throw out?
I went through all the stuff those Green Arrow and Batman were 2 of the most egregious ongoings that I can think of. Because everything else, even if I didn't enjoy it, it was still, there was something, like some of those Black Label ones, like, what was the one? Did I finish it? It was the Lights Out, not Lights Out, what was it called? Where all the power went out in Gotham.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah. It was okay. I thought it was okay. I didn't love it as much as like Pete or even Connor did, but I wouldn't clock it as a disappointment,
Yeah,
I'd say for me, I'm pretty disappointed in Williamson's Superman book.
That's fair. I think it never occurred to me to even bring that up because he's had bigger misses this year. So
he has, but it's just disappointing that it's the main Superman book. Like, it's offset because we got action a little bit, but.
Yeah,
it's
a weird one with that book because I feel like every 2 or 3 issues he has a good one and it kind of wins me back, and then he does something weird the next issue and it pisses me off again.
Yeah,
I would say it's mostly the issues aren't bad; they're just mostly pretty mediocre, with like one good issue every 2 or 3.
Just wait till you get to the most recent one, Connor.
Oh, okay, I've done 8, I think. So I had the massive one.
It does, yeah.
And then I had the one after that.
It does some things in this one.
Great.
I liked it. I don't think Pete did as much.
I'm trying to remember what it was, and it was only last week.
Yeah. It involved Marilyn Moonlight, Pete.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm remembering.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Oh yeah. It's not the exact same thing, right? But it's like very similar to Zdarsky just suddenly sending Batman off to another universe. It's
is this the Western?
yeah.
stuff?
It's all of a sudden we're in the okay. I guess we're doing this
I've
now.
obviously not ready yet, but I saw a bunch of stuff on Twitter.
Yeah.
I guess we're doing that now. Okay. Yeah. All right. I mean, if there's no other picks, we can.
Unless I'm blaming delays as a disappointing pick that affects my enjoyment of books.
They're evergreen, so
They are, but like I'm thinking some particularly bad ones include this year the JSA delays and whatever's going on with the Mark Waid Superman book. Is it Wade?
yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
The Lex Luthor.
That sounds like a weird F up in the editorials or the publisher side though, rather than
it does,
anything to do with the creators. So I think if I'm pushed to pick something, I'll probably edge it out to Night Terrors because it was a torturous 2 months where I only liked 2 issues of the entire set. But Batman is close. I want to make that clear.
No, for me it's easily Night Terror because Batman's bad every month, but that's one bad issue every month and it's disappointing. But 2 months of bullshit.
Yeah, but I think it's because I expected Chip to be great. It's not. I mean, it's one thing to have a mediocre Batman run, or even a bad Batman run.
Yeah.
But I was expecting great things from him.
Because he did just have that great Batman book not long before.
The Night.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your pick, Matt?
Yeah, I think Night Terrors just edges out Batman. Just because if you go back and listen to those, I'm sure we're just trying to get through them. I'm sure we couldn't even make Night Terrors entertaining. At least we can make the Batman stuff entertaining.
Oh yeah, we can make fun of that, and it's that thing though. If we didn't read Night Terrors, we'd have maybe 2 books. So I was like, we can't just cut Night Terrors.
Yep.
You know, so shout out to Beast World for being a good event. I mean, admittedly, the tie-in issues kind of suck, but the main story is
What's that?
solid.
An event with shitty tie-ins?
Yeah, but
Must be a DC event.
Yeah, it's just the way that they chose to handle them, where they're just dropping them all even before certain issues are out.
Yeah,
so there's editor boxes.
The week of Beast World issue 1, the tie-in that came out that week, right? It had like 4 stories in it, or 3 stories, whatever it was, right? The first one said, this takes place after Beast World issue 2. I'm like, okay, that's weird. Second story, this takes place after Beast World issue 3. What the hell, DC? What the hell?
Yep.
I
might just skip the tie-ins when I get to Beast World.
Honestly, yeah, just read Titans Beast World, read the main Titans book. I think it'll be fine. That'll be fine.
Yeah. Let's be honest, it's true of like 80% of all events.
It's pretty. Yeah. Okay. All right. What do? Writer or artist? What do you want to go with first?
Right.
I think that if we talk about writer, it'll help us remember certain artists.
Okay.
There's usually less writers.
Yeah,
it's because they all have multiple books. So
yeah,
that makes sense. All right. Well, typically the way we do this is we go around and just nominate one, and we'll talk about them for a bit and add them to the list, and then I'll pick one after we're done, kind of suggesting names. So why don't we go with Matt first? We'll throw out a name.
So, in the spirit of like not competition, but I'm gonna start with Philip Kennedy Johnson for not only his Action Comics but also Green Lantern War Journal.
Yeah, unless you specifically want to exclude one, I think generally speaking we're always counting like all their DC books for the year.
But I just want to mention what those are too, just in case.
Sure,
forget. Right, so.
War Journal's been good so far, really good so far. You know, we've had 3 or 4 issues, and it's been a really compelling story.
One so far, but I'm into it.
He's taken a concept where, like, with John Stewart's getting his own book. It's like, okay, but then just working his own family issues and his standing in the Green Lantern Corps and just doing all of this stuff. It seems to be like a spiritual sequel to War World. It's like John Stewart's own personal. So, some of those themes continue over, which I appreciate. But yeah, just his Action Comics has been an all-time run that's, coming to an end, which is sad. But at least we have War Journal to look forward to. It's not like it's ending. We have no idea what's coming next.
I do hope he gets a second book in 2024. I mean, I shouldn't say that. We'll do a 2024 hopes and dreams at the end, I suppose. But no. I mean, obviously, I don't think any of us are going to disagree with that pick. Admittedly, I do think his action was maybe stronger in 2022 because that was the year of War World. But it's been really solid post-War World saga as well. Love the stuff with the kids.
It's never quite made the heights that it had in War World with like Federici's art and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's still been good, like really good.
Yeah. No, I love what they've done about them, like raising the twins and like Kara bonding with them and just all the little things they're doing here, and then the Blue Earthers and all that stuff.
It actually feels like a Superman family book, not just Superman.
Yeah.
So,
it's real good. I will throw out. I mean, they're all obvious names. I'll go.
In my head, there's 3 obvious names to be thrown out. One of them's already been done.
That's fair.
I mean, for us, Pete, it would be 4.
I think there's 4 obvious names. I think Connor's excluding one obvious name.
Honestly, that wasn't even intentional. That was just.
Yeah.
So I didn't even register that he existed for a second.
I'll do it because Connor's obviously going to do it. So I will say Tom King, and just to list off what he did this year. The last 3 issues, I think, of The Human Target, 11 issues of Danger Street, his first 4 issues of Wonder Woman, his first 5 issues of The Penguin, and there was something else before that.
Gotham Year 1.
Gotham Year 1 finished up earlier this year as well. So that is a hell of a year, with quality ranging from very good to excellent.
Good.
Yeah.
Going the other direction.
It's going the other direction, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's such a good mix of like his prestige. He's doing an ongoing, well, 2 ongoings because Penguin's ongoing as well, I think. And they've been excellent. And I think both Penguin and Wonder Woman did this miraculous thing where they both had just phenomenal issue 1s that completely sold you on what the run was. And it's something that not a lot of writers can necessarily do right away. Sometimes you have to build and get a sense of what they're doing over a course of an arc or 2. So
yeah, he sets the tone really well, though, too. Because I feel like going back to Human Target last year, that tone was set almost immediately. You know, it's become a skill that he's very good at, and then we wait to see if he sticks the landing. And I feel 2023 was the year that he did stick the landings.
Yeah. Out of the stuff that wrapped up this year, for sure. Honestly, there's almost not much more. I think the weird thing about the writers is that I've got a couple of new additions to mention, but I think the core 4 that we're talking about here were the same core 4 from last year. So not much has changed in terms of the tippy top here, I think, for us. But yeah. All right, go on, Connor, you throw out one.
Right, okay. Ram V.
Yeah, I was going to say Ram V, and I thought, nah, Connor's going to want to say Ram V because
it's fine. There's one more to go after that anyway. I could have done that one.
It's funny that I associate those 2 writers with both of you guys. Like, you know, I associate Ram V with Connor because he's the one that first told me about like Savage Shores and Ram V's more independent stuff, and then just because he doesn't like Tom King, you know, and I talk Tom King a lot with Pete, you know.
I mean,
just out of interest, have you read any of his non-DC stuff this year?
I have hit Savage Shores. I have not had time to read it yet because DC keeps dropping 10 books a week on us.
Joe's so funny.
His Rare Flavors is phenomenal.
Joe's so funny, Matt, is that right now we're like, it's like 10 to 12 books like 3 weeks in a row. I was looking through the whole year just to remind myself what came out. See, if you go back to like May, June, it's like there's like 4 books most of the weeks. It's really, really quiet.
Sometimes I long for those days.
It's you know, it's ebbs and flows. Ebbs and flows. They'll be back there at some point. Anyway,
Ram V having what? The Vigil, Tech.
I think those were his 2 main books this year, right?
Yeah. Swamp Thing was already done. So it's really just those 2. But yeah, I mean, Tech's been phenomenal. It's been double shipping the last few weeks as well. So he's had quite a number of issues of that. And then all of the Vigil was this year, and Vigil was a very good book. It was like it had a couple of rough edges here or there, but the concept of issue 1 was so strong. And then by the time you get to like issue 5, when it revealed what was really going on, it was like, holy shit, this is actually fantastic, and what it's building up. So the fact that it ended with the Vigil will return was exciting because I don't know if Connor's read the last issue yet. That's not a spoiler.
I haven't read the last one, but also I don't think that was a huge surprise.
No. I mean, we all hoped, but like...
I think the only real question I had was whether it'll return in its own book as a separate, like, as a sequel miniseries, or if they're going to show up in another Ram V project down the line.
Don't get me wrong. I always expected that he planned to do more, but it's whether or not... The fact that he came out on Twitter when it ended and said, yeah, don't worry, they're coming back, to sort of confirm, yeah, there's going to be more, was like the confirmation that I think we felt we needed. So, yeah.
But like I said, I have no doubt that the team would have come back. It was just a matter of where and if the sales were there to allow it to be a miniseries.
Yeah, but his tech's been fantastic. It's been the Bat book this year.
Every time I see anyone say something negative about that book on Twitter, I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, how are you not reading that and thinking this is phenomenal?
Yeah, all-time run, I feel. Like, it's one of those Batman stories, I feel like that's just going to be in print once it's all collected. Something like Hush.
It's going to be a gorgeous omnibus, isn't it?
Even though Hush is more art than story, but it's just one of those ones that you'll always see sitting on a shelf at a comic shop. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah. All right, Matt, do the other obvious one. Go on.
All right, so the other one is I was going to do something real stupid, but let's not. But yeah, it's Tom Taylor, right? Patron saint of the show.
Of course. Obviously.
Nightwing, Titans. Has he done anything else? Does this mean too?
Yeah, no, he wrapped up Deceased this year with the War of the Undead Gods. And
less exciting, but we did have the Adventures of Superman
Oh,
John
that's
Kent.
right.
And that's not all. He also, the last few issues of Dark Knights of Steel was this year as well.
Uh-huh.
Oh, because they were heavily delayed. Yeah.
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 So,
So
a bunch of stuff. Probably, like, I would say that maybe overall, maybe not quite his strongest year, even though I'm loving Nightwing and Titans. I think all the other stuff was a little more lesser Taylor compared to maybe like the last couple of years where it was more like he was firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I think that's part of maybe just he's been working on multiple DC books a year now for a few years, so it's not quite as fresh. There's not as many fresh ideas just that he's been had percolating for years.
well, and I feel this is his first event too with Beast World, right?
Yeah. Which so far, I mean, issue 1 and 2, I really liked to that. So he's basically doing what he did in Deceased with playing with mythology and DC in ways that make sense. Just now it's in continuity, so he can't just kill everyone, but
Right.
but he's still
Yeah.
pulling the right
Does he know
heartstrings. I mean,
You know?
I feel like to kill someone off in a main continuity book, you have to like go up the chain of command and get like, because I'm sure in Deceased he could just do what he wanted without checking with anyone. But now he's like, all right, I need to send a note up to, there's a door with Dan Didio's name scrubbed out and Marie Javin's written on it.
He just he painted it himself. They can't get the paint off.
Oh dear. Or maybe they did take it off. They keep sneaking in and putting it back on. He's refusing to let that door go. That's always going to be my door, damn it.
Yeah.
The
DDO door. You don't want to ever go through the DDO door, ever.
No, I mean, it's kind of amazing how many books a month are coming from the 4 writers that we've just mentioned that are kind of high on our to-do list. But I do have a couple of names that weren't really... Because I looked at the list we had last year built up, and I was like, okay, what's missing there that's kind of new this year? And the 2 that stuck out to me, one was Mark Waid, because he'd done a couple of issues before the end of last year, but he was only just kind of starting to ramp up. This year we've had World Finest all year, we've had World Finest Teen Titans, and we've had Shazam, which I think's his best book right now.
I think though if we'd had more issues of the Lex Luthor book, he might have broken into that top tier of in that conversation with those top 4.
He's kind of knocking on it. Like I think his Shazam is really good. Like I think it's really good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, T-Rex with a monocle. That's all I need. You know.
So yeah, he's knocking on the door, and then it's not as much to go on, but I think it's enough to be excited, and that is Kelly Thompson with 4 issues of Birds of Prey. Like, I think Birds of Prey 4 is just enough that when we're doing the top 10 later, I think Birds is eligible for it, and I think she's shown a lot of skill already with just those 4 issues of building a compelling but weird team, of poking at ideas that you don't usually associate with Birds of Prey, but mostly just having them all be lovable characters who their interactions are what make the book, and that's always what's made her books work, is the interactions with all of her characters.
Yeah, and big impactful moments too, because in that first 4 issues, each of them have a really big moment that makes sense in the story, seems to have lasting consequences for things.
For sure.
Yeah.
I hope DC treats her better than Marvel did, which felt like
too.
Every book got about 12 issues if you were lucky. Yeah. The fact that DC, even when sales weren't as amazing, like Batgirl's got like, was it 18 issues, something like that?
Yeah, 18, I think, yeah.
Okay, it might not sound like that's loads more than 12, but 18's a healthy run compared to 12, which feels just like a maxi series.
Yep.
Yeah. I hope it keeps going, and I hope she gets more books as well. Like I think I would be very excited by the prospect of that. I think Kelly Thompson and Philip Kennedy Johnson each getting a second book would really brighten my slate of books per month.
And let's get Tamaki back in.
Yes, more Tamaki. That Supergirl one shot she just did just made me want more Tamaki, like immediately.
I'm glad that one shot came out, because it kind of proved that there was no like bridges burned.
Yeah.
With Tamaki, because it's like, okay, this may not be a lot of content, but it's, she's clearly still willing to work at DC and happy to put books out. It's just a case of let's get her on something.
Plus, Supergirl is where I discovered Tamaki, so it was nice to have her back doing Supergirl, even though it wasn't in continuity the first one she did. But, really cool. Because Tamaki was on our list last year because her detective run was all, well, not all, but a lot of it was in
Most of it.
2022.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Any other names, Matt, you want to throw out?
Yeah, I have two. I have Jeremy Adams for Green Lantern, Jay Garrick, his Flash. That ended this year, right?
Yeah, his Wally Flash ended, and obviously he's doing Jay Garrick now, and obviously he's got the new Green Lantern book.
Yeah, just consistent. Like, I wouldn't put him in the top tier with the other ones that we've mentioned, but
he's
I think he's had a
workhorse writer. He's like kind of like what Williamson was before they elevated him to like
before they gave him the keys.
Architect. Yeah, before that, like he was like in that similar realm of like, hey, we give him a lot of solid books. He'll probably deliver a dependable product. And maybe not always your taste, but solid, and sales must be pretty consistent.
And to be fair to him, I don't think he's like cracking on that top 4 by any means, but I do think his Green Lantern feels like a step up. And I liked his Flash run, but his Green Lantern feels like, it feels like he's even more comfortable here, and that it feels like a bigger story, and it feels like he's handling this bigger stakes in a way that I think it feels like. I don't know if he's going to keep getting better, but it certainly feels like, now his ceiling raised a little bit with this one, and I feel like if he can stick the landing, especially, I'll be really singing his praises. So, that's really good.
And then the other one was G. Willow Wilson for Poison Ivy.
Ivy has been phenomenal.
That's fair. So, I mean, I've liked what I've read from her, but I'm obviously not reading Poison Ivy, so I can't comment on that one.
It's a very, very good and consistent book. I would like to see her on more stuff.
Yep, me too. It's just to take the book that was a conceit of like it seemed like it was supposed to be a mini, and then
I'm pretty sure it was originally solicited as a mini, and then they upgraded it because of the sales.
Yeah, so was Green Arrow.
Man, but
green characters sell well.
But just to see where she's taking Pam, and just it feels like it's her own section of Gotham. With Janet from HR. With Harley, the stuff with the spores is still ongoing, but it's almost just like this, like Connor said, very consistent, just week in, or month in, month out, and doing new things with Pam too. That's not just her not knowing if she's good or bad. It's her developing a conscience, but also like, but sometimes people need a poison spore, but just good work on the character across the board there.
It's probably the most I've felt Ivy has been a real character since like Gotham City Sirens, which
that's fair.
Is pre-New 52 at this point, so it's going back.
That's a while ago. You get?
I think it was towards the end of that, but yeah.
You get anything to add, Connor?
There's writers I've enjoyed their work, but none that are in this top conversation. There's John Ridley had the end of GCPD Blue Wall, that second half of that.
Yeah, that was at the start of the year.
But not enough to be in contention. I really personally loved Alyssa Wong's Spirit World. But again, it was a 6-issue mini, not enough to be in this conversation. Even, to be honest, even the quality alone isn't probably enough to be on that conversation. But enough that I'm saying I want more of her work at DC.
Sure. All right.
So you just made me remember when you said that. Ram V did that Aquaman book with Christian Ward.
Oh, of course.
Andromeda.
Yeah.
And we forgot about Andromeda to mention for Ram V.
Is that this year?
Was that this year?
I think so. Was it not?
I mean, I don't know.
If it was early in the year.
Yeah, let's check.
Yeah. I didn't notice it when I was looking to see what came out this year, but I could have missed it.
I don't remember, but I mean, it was a good book either way.
All right. Connor, who is your writer at DC for 2023?
Is it cliche if I say Ram V?
No.
I mean, is it cliche for me to say that?
Maybe a little bit.
Well, yeah, okay. I'm going to say it anyway because, yeah.
Matt, who's your writer of the year at DC?
Just for the sheer amount of books that this person wrote that I thoroughly enjoyed and probably give a lot of tens to, it's Tom King.
Yep. My writer of the year, I think it might have been Ram V. However, by the time we got to the end of the year and both Wonder Woman and Penguin launched, I think Tom King just kind of skidded ahead in front and just, like, not only did he do that, but they're arguably maybe even his two best books, in addition to all the things he'd already done this year. Well, no, I'm saying they're better than Human Target, actually, but Human Target only had its last few issues, like that was the tail end at the start of the year. So yeah, I think I have to go with King this year. He's been kind of firing all cylinders, and he's even proving that he can go back and do an ongoing again in a way that we kind of for a couple of years thought, it's fine if he just stays away from them, just keep doing these 12 issue books. But now he's like, you know what, I've had some rest from that, I've been thinking about it. He's got some plans in motion, and he's so far knocking them out the park. So
he goes, watch this. That's what I like to think that he's saying. Yeah.
So all right, two Tom Kings and a Ram V. There you go. Writers of the Year. But everyone mentioned, of course, is a winner.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an honor to be nominated.
These are the most prestigious comic book awards.
Yes.
Forget the Eisners.
What are the Eisners?
Yeah.
We don't recognize those.
It's all about the fuzzies.
It's all about the fuzzies. All right. Artists of the Year. We'll dive into this. I feel like this could be a much bigger list potentially. I have some written down here. I'm sure we all have some different ones in mind. Connor, we'll start with you if you want to nominate an artist.
Okay, because I'm just on the spot and I'm thinking, I'm going to go with Dan Mora because it seems like an easy choice because he's done more than most artists, I would suggest, because I don't know how that man works so much and at such a high quality.
Yeah, primarily...
Yeah, go ahead, Pete.
I was going to say primarily that's Shazam and World's Finest are the two that he's mainly worked on.
And it doesn't make sense that they're both always quality. Like, that's two ongoings a month. And he's just killing it. Plus covers. And I know covers you can store and,
Yeah, I know he took a couple of months off World's Finest when Shazam launched. But he must have a hell of a lead time.
Yeah.
To be, keeping up with this.
Yeah, I wonder if Wade is just such a quick writer that he just gave him here's the first 20 issues back back before he even started issue 1. He's like, okay, I can get a cracking on these.
Or do you think he does it the old Marvel way where he goes, this is kind of what they're gonna do, this is where I need them, draw them, and he fills in the dialogue later. He has the utmost trust in Mora.
Honestly, I don't know with Wade because he's worked he came up a lot of DC stuff, but obviously he spent decades away doing other stuff as well. So I could see it being either way.
I feel like a lot of the techniques have just kind of merged between the two companies and just vary from team to team. But
they do, yeah.
I think if I'm throwing out someone here, I got to mention Daniel St. Pierre. Wonder Woman has been absolutely jaw-dropping for the first 4 issues.
Gorgeous book. I will absolutely not take that away from that.
Everything from just the actual line work and how good it looks on a sort of image basis, but also the sequencing, the way that first issue just teases Wonder Woman with a little foot here or whatever. It's all just other things, and then that gorgeous full page when you finally get to the reveal of her. It's just the art is so important to it. We joke about this every year, probably for 5 years at this point. But Tom King has something on someone because he just keeps getting.
He definitely has something from his CIA background.
For sure, he has to.
And it's not Didio because he's still getting them.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he's got someone on someone. But maybe it's someone and everybody. Maybe he's got something for every single person at the DC office. He's like, hey, you cheated your taxes in 1993. I demand St. Pierre.
Could be.
That's just my first. I mean, I've got several to pick here. Matt, you throw out one.
So this guy's probably on your list because he works with Tom King, but Fornes for Danger Street this year. Just another consistent book, but especially that issue that was just a fight between fight to the I guess death with Manhunter and Codename Assassin. So they're going back and forth. So for as strong as the dialogue was, you could have not had the dialogue, and that issue still works with just art. It could have been like that G.I. Joe silent issue, and I don't think you'd lose much. So
Yeah. Plus, I mean, Fornes is so good at having the characters perform like actors because the art's that good that you can do the facial expressions and tell the story that way, and like there's tons of that in there. So yeah, well worth mentioning. Go on, Connor. Give us another one.
I want to say Marcio Takara, the work on Poison Ivy. Has been done the bulk of that book. She has, and it's been great. It's been such a consistent, looking book. It's very detailed, but
the heavier lines too make everything pop.
Yeah, I don't know how much
the
that's
colors,
the inks, but then we're really soft colors for the most part. Other than like specific moments, and it's just been such a good looking book from start to finish.
Yeah, okay. Was it me next?
Yep.
Okay, I'll throw out. Give me sort of a newer surprise for me is Montos on Green Lantern War Journal. It's a very moody art. You know, it's a lot of shadows, a lot of dark ink, thick inks. It really lets the green pop when it's there. But it's definitely got this kind of, like, there's moments where, like, John's looking sad when he's riding the train because he's worried about his mother, and, like, you feel the weight of those moments. So it does fine in the action, but it's almost these, like, really human moments that he really excels at. But that's been really solid. Go on, Matt.
Bruno Redondo, Nightwing.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah.
Nightwing, he just did Superman for an issue. Trying to think what else coming off my head. But yeah, just always, when I think of the new era of Nightwing, I'm thinking of Redondo's style. The multiple, like during a fight scene, you just follow Dick around the page. It's all there. He's done the one take, continuous one this year issue.
Maybe.
But
no, I don't think that was this year.
No.
What was that gimmick one they did earlier this year? They definitely did a gimmick one this year.
Yeah.
Silent issue maybe.
It might have been the silent one.
Yeah.
But whatever Redondo does, it's always something new, and he always makes it work on top of it. So very, very worth a mention.
Yeah, it's fair. Connor?
Smaller sample size, but Leonardo Romero for Birds of Prey.
Yeah, I was thinking of mentioning this one.
It's just been absolutely killing it on that book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very different from a lot of the other DC artists, which is,
which I like, because anything that breaks our house style, whether the art is good or bad, is a good thing to have, just for the sake of having some like even artists who I hate, the look of them, like Riley Rosmo.
Yeah.
Should be on books at DC, not books that I want to read, please, but should be on books. Having the variety of styles is objectively a good thing.
Oh.
Just keep him off like my favorites, please.
Very
That's
good.
funny.
I'll throw out. I mean, it's a small selection, but for the 3 issues of Batman: Brave and the Bold, Mitch Gerrard's must be mentioned, because that stuff truly makes the Joker terrifying, and it's spooky, it's eerie. I actually wrote down next to this also One Bad Day, but his One Bad Day issue was 2022, so we know that one.
If I could count One Bad Day, I'd be throwing McKelvey in there.
Well, I think 1 or 2 of the One Bad Days were
I think
his
was,
year.
but it's only one issue.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Yeah, just exceptionally moody. It kind of fits that style of, like, Joker's a bad dream, that, he's a nightmare that's walking the streets kind of thing. The eerie feeling that book gives is phenomenal. And we've still got one part of it left, actually, so I'm looking forward to that. You got another one, Matt?
There's a lot that are coming to mind, but they're for smaller things.
I've still got a couple to mention, but
I was gonna say like Doc Shaner was Shazam the Mary?
The last one or 2 issues of it where it was
Okay.
it was sort of crossing over from last year.
Okay.
But
Yeah, so that's a little really, but like I'll just throw out Jason Sean Alexander for this last
Tech.
run on Tech.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic.
Yeah, I didn't know who that was when it came on, but I really liked it.
And like Pete was talking about stuff being moody and just.
It reminds me a lot of like a Federici sort of style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little bit. I can see that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got any more, Connor?
Honestly, there's a lot of like smaller ones. Pretty much everyone who's worked with Dan Waters on a backup story in Detective.
Fair.
They're mostly there for like just one issue at a time, but every single one of them has been fantastic. I believe we've had Casper Wingard in there. We had Liam Sharp on one not too long ago. There was all the ones that we had. The one who did all the Azrael stuff with him. I can't remember his name, but like there's so many of them. Like they all just have like one little thing here or there. But collectively, everyone he's worked with on that Tech backup has been fantastic.
Yeah. A couple I'll throw out there is Germanico for Green Lantern. Gorgeous stuff. And then the other one I wanted to mention was Rafael de la Torre for Penguin. Again, Tom King's got some sort of magic that he just gets whatever great artist he can, but that's another one where the art is so expressive with the performances of the characters, and you kind of need it because that book, the entire gimmick of it is that the narration's always coming from characters other than Penguin. So much like the characters in the scene, you're always trying to read what Penguin's thinking, and you're doing that almost entirely through the art. So it has to be mentioned. Wonderful stuff. Any other ones anyone wants to throw out before we make our picks?
I'm checking some of them. Action kind of had a smattering of artists. No, I don't think any come to mind. You mentioned Germanico. That was going to be my next one. So
that was the only one I had in backup as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, Matt, who is your artist of the year?
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Fornes for Danger Street, just because of how 11 issues, every single one of them was great art wise. So that's mine.
Yeah. Yeah, out of like quantity, he does definitely have the most, I think. Well, maybe other than Mora.
I was going to say Mora has probably slightly more.
Because I think a lot of my other ones that I've got written, because Redondo was only on maybe half a Nightwing this year.
Yeah.
Sam Pierre's only done 4 issues of
Wonder Woman. Yeah. There's only been about 3 or 4 War Journals, same with Green Lantern. So it's...
Green Lantern would have had more if not for that stupid 2-month event without it.
Yeah, true.
Oh dear. I think I'm really conflicted. I really want to pick either Sampere for Wonder Woman or Mitch Gerads for He's Brave and the Boldest, because I think those two are the ones that stick out in my mind the most. Is just be like, and they're both very different as well, which is fantastic. I think I'll go with Mitch, but it's tough. It's tough. I'll go with Mitch Gerads for He's Brave and the Bold stories with Tom King. Notably Tom King. Like both my picks were Tom King collaborators. Connor, who's your artist of the year?
Yeah, it is a tough one. I'm torn between Sam Pierre and Mora. Like, logically, I'm like, well, Mora should have the edge because he's got like triple the output of Sam Pierre, if not more. But I don't know if he's necessarily like those 4 issues from Sam Pierre are gorgeous. Like, they are phenomenal. I might edge it to Mora, but it is close between the two of them.
All right, there you go. So Dan Mora, Jorge Fornes, and Mitch Gerads, artist of the year. Very good. All right. Well, the main event. Well, we got a little section afterwards where we sort of look ahead to 2024. But the main event of the show, the main thing is the top 10 books of the year. These can be ongoings. These can be minis. It doesn't really matter. The one typical rule we've had in the past, though, is that if a book has only had 1 or 2 issues before this episode, we probably shouldn't count it. And by extension, that does mean that for something that was in that boat last year, but was a mini and only got a couple again after the end of the year, we should probably count that this year, because at least we have the full context of the whole book, even though it's pretty evenly split between the 2 years.
That sounds fair.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything in there that would be even qualified to that, but I'm just getting the ground rules out the way. So I think what we do is we build up a list, just nominate different books that we think should be in the discussion, probably get to a lot more than 10, and then start whittling and organising and making our cases. So, Matt, nominate a book.
Just go with the easy one first, Nightwing.
Okay. Connor, nominate a book.
Detective.
Very good. I'll nominate Danger Street. Matt.
Shazam.
Connor.
Ooh, Birds of Prey. Is four issues enough?
Yeah, that's enough.
That's a third of the year.
Yeah,
So
I think it's enough. I'll nominate Wonder Woman. Matt.
Action Comics.
Yep. Should type that in. Connor?
Sorry, just give me 1 second. I'm having some sound issues.
Alright, I'll go first then.
Yep.
I'll throw in Green Lantern. Matt?
Poison Ivy.
Alright. Poison Ivy. Connor, you ready to give us one?
Yep. Vigil. Anyone said that yet?
No. Vigil. I'll add that on. Matt?
Let's see. I've gone through that. Let's go with War Journal.
Okay. Yep, add that on. I'll throw in Penguin.
Dang it, that's gonna be my next.
Deserves to be in the discussion at least. Yeah. Connor?
Sorry, just bear with me. This is not working.
All right, Matt.
Skype is giving me problems.
Of course. 6 is enough. Let's go Titans.
Titan. Yeah, this is enough for sure. I'll throw in Justice Society of America.
Go for that wild card.
Connor's face when I said it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
You got another one, Connor?
I can hear bits. Has anyone said Action Comics yet?
Yes.
Okay. City Boy?
Okay. Very good. Matt?
World's Finest.
Okay, yeah, very good. I will throw in... someone say Shazam already, yeah? I think
I did.
Yeah. I'll throw in GCPD, The Blue Wall. Alright. I'll ignore Connor for now. Matt, you got
Just like old times. Let's see. I'm trying to think of stuff that we've been rating really high.
I mean, technically Human Target had its last 3 issues this year.
Yeah, but I feel like that's, I
I got one last year, or got close to winning at least.
Yeah. You said Penguin. You said Danger Street, Wonder Woman. I feel like we're missing a Tom King one that's not. How many issues did Gotham Year One have this year? Do we know?
I think it was about half and half. I think it was like the last 3 were the start of the year.
Maybe I don't want to say that one then. I'm going through and checking. I said Shazam. I said.
What else have I got? I'll add Batgirls to the list. I feel like I don't think it's going to make the top 10, but I do think it's worth the conversation.
Well, that's how I feel about. I mean, I could throw Blue Beetle on there too, because there's been enough issues, I believe. But I don't think it's going to win. It's just been enjoyable. I mean, even get the top 10, not win.
I mean, I'll add it to the list for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've got any left to add on here. I can't think
I'm just
of any.
going through.
I suppose I guess Batman City of Madness. It's only had 2, but that's 2 out of 3. So it's like
It's 2/3 done.
So I mean, I'll mention it at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Matt, did you find out if Aquaman Andromeda was this year?
Yeah. So why I thought it was this year is because the trade just came out, but it ended last year. So
Fair enough.
just missing it. I'm going through, and everything that I want to say is less than like 4 that we've read. So it's not.
Yeah. I think
because I don't want to put Flash on there yet. I know there's been more, because of like I feel like Spurrier having that Teen Titans Beast World or the Titans Beast World tie-in kind of was a Flash issue.
Actually,
but
I've got one. Unstoppable Doom Patrol.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
How did everyone forget
Perfect.
that?
Yeah, very good. Okay, we're probably about done with all the potential picks, I would imagine, at this point. I mean, arguably, the new champion of Shazam, I think that falls into that. It was. I mean, let me just double check this. Let me go back to the start of our year in terms of. Right, where are we here?
I only had issue 7 was this year, and anything after.
Of the 4-issue book that I'm talking about?
The Champion Shazam.
That was only 4 issues.
Is that only 4?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the Josie Campbell.
I think I looked at the wrong Shazam. It must be just issue 4 then.
Is it just
there was
issue
one.
4? Okay, it's maybe pushing it a little bit then. Fair enough. Okay. I don't think I'm going to find any more that I'm passionate about. I don't think.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I'm just giving a quick skim, see if there's anything else that jumps out at me that feels.
Did Matt mention Ivy while I was having technical difficulties?
did.
He did. Yes.
Okay, good.
I got it on the list because I know me and you will fight for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of books that like towards the end that I'm like, oh, they'll be good next year. Like if they keep up like City of Madness, Gargoyles.
Yeah.
And see, like, I want to put Power Girl on there because I am enjoying it and all of the, the backup stuff that came out. But I'm going to be the only one that's pushing for that, unless Connor's going to surprise me.
No, sorry.
No, yeah, so it's kind
I
of
loved the
missed spot.
the stuff that was before the book, but I don't know. The main book I've not been feeling that much.
For completion's sake, I don't think it'll make it, but I think World's Finest
Yeah.
Teen Titans should be mentioned.
Yeah. It's a really solid 6 issue.
Yeah. All right, we've got 22 books here
Okay.
written down. So I think there's probably some cuts we could make before we start trying to sort whatever the top 10 is. Because like I said, I've written down City of Madness, but it's kind of weird because even though it's 2/3 of its story, it's still lacking the ending.
It really depends on that last issue as to whether or not it'll be.
So I'm going to take that off. I think Matt, you'll agree, Blue Beetle probably isn't going to make it.
Yep.
So we'll trim that. Looking at the rest, I'll take Batgirls off. Like I wanted to mention it because I do think it got stronger as it went along, and I really liked the last arc or so that came out this
that
year.
last arc pulled me in, so I came back to read that.
Those 2 issues, I think it started in the annual, where it was like Steph and Cass focused, but they swapped, and Cass had to find Steph. I thought that was really good, so wanted to mention that. So we're down to 19. Okay, I'm not sure what the obvious cuts are at this point. I mean, there's definitely a couple that I wouldn't have in the top 10, but I don't know how hard people are going to fight for them. So maybe at this point we just start trying to.
I think we just start at 1 start at. Do we start at 1 and work our way down?
I think you have to. I don't think you can start when you're forming the list like this. I don't think you can start at 10. I think you have to try.
Yeah, you can always juggle around some of the places after.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think for me, it would easily be Detective.
I'm not going to disagree.
I don't know how Matt feels here.
Mm-hmm.
But my first instinct, and I'm not going to get it because Connor doesn't like it that much, but my first instinct is Wonder Woman's number one.
See, I get that, but I feel like we've had it's just been more, not consistent, because Wonder Woman has been consistent, don't get me wrong. I just feel like the tech has been more consistent across. Like Ram V has just been, I mean, month
that's
in, month
had
out.
how many issues over the year versus Wonder Woman's 4?
Yep. But those 4 from Wonder Woman are very, very strong.
It's enough. It's enough to make the cut, and I think especially those first 3 were all phenomenal.
I think you're insane.
I know you think I'm insane.
I'm not going to say Wonder Woman doesn't deserve the top 10.
Oh no, absolutely. Look, there's no question Wonder Woman's in this top 10.
Yeah,
like that's not even up for discussion.
It's just I can't put it in the top 5, not yet, anyways. So
I don't know. I think it is top 5, but that's.
I don't know.
You've got one person pushing it for number 1, one who thinks maybe not even top 5, and one who's not in the list at all. There's no way this is getting the number 1 spot.
No, I mean I'll concur that at this point, but I'm going to fight Matt on this not getting the top 5 business because I think that's kind of absurd.
I have 5 books above it, and that's mostly because of how many have come out, right? And just for the quality, just
I think it is interesting that I think Nightwing won 2 years in a row, and I don't think any of us are saying that's number 1 this year. Obviously, I think it definitely makes the top 10.
Yeah, it might be top 5. I'd have to look at actually look at the list as we go to be sure.
Yeah. We'll whittle down here.
I think I'll surprise myself if it ends up top 3 though.
I'm just having a hard time. Here's the problem though, Matt. I feel like one of the books you're going to say is better than Wonder Woman is Danger Street, and I can understand why you'd say that. Am I correct in that assumption?
Yes.
That doesn't solve the Connor problem, but
it doesn't.
That's funny.
But I would put it over just because it's more of the complete story. We don't even have the end of the first arc for Wonder Woman yet.
I mean that's true. That's true.
Do you know what I mean? So that's why I couldn't Wonder Woman could kick the doors down by this time next year and be in number 1 without hesitation.
Okay,
I'd fully buy that.
I've just been very impressed. I never mentioned Amazon's Attack. I am enjoying that as a tie-in to Wonder Woman. But
that's only been 3 issues.
It's only been 3 issues. Yeah, it is a mini.
I've only read the prologue for that so far. That was in the back of one of the Wonder Woman issues.
Yeah.
Okay. So Connor clearly wants Detective number 1. That's clearly what he wants no matter what. Are you feeling as strongly as that, Matt?
Yeah, I'd be fine with Detective number 1.
I'm not asking if you'd be fine with it. I'm asking if that's clearly your number 1 pick.
What would have been your number? You said you had a top 5 a second ago in your own head. Where was Detective on your own top 5?
So it was 2. So I mean, Danger Street's 1.
Oh, Danger Street's number 1. Okay, interesting.
Danger Street's 1. Yeah. I mean, it's got Fornes, it's got King. It was consistent. I look forward to do it every month. So yeah, that's where. But I would be okay with Tech over Danger Street because that's a book that all 3 of us have seemed to enjoy.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't feel like there's really been a weak issue this entire year. So, and there's been more because it's been double shipping.
So how many issues did? Cause I know he wasn't on it the whole year. I don't think.
Who?
Ram V. Did his stuff start?
Oh, he's been there.
I think the whole year.
I think he started last year. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're right. So he's had at least. I mean, take away the 2 months that I assume it didn't ship during Night Terrors.
No.
But it did double ship then for a couple of months after. He probably had the full 12.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hell, maybe that's even why it was double shipping for a while because he was so far ahead. He's like, hey, I had the 12 here ready.
Yeah.
Maybe it was done. You might as well.
Yeah. And for the record, I do think Detective is top 3 material. I'm not when I'm arguing against this, I'm not arguing against it
I feel like Pete's just trying to shake things up a bit, you know, trying to get us just talking, get us.
Yeah. I feel like the last couple of years we've all been so easily dead set on Nightwing being at number one. I don't know if I can't remember the last time we all had different opinions.
I don't have Nightwing in my top 3.
But here's the thing: like, I could have, if you'd both come in here swinging for Danger Street, I could have maybe gone, well, fine. That was like most of it was this year, and I know you two loved that issue in, issue out. But Wonder Woman's had 4 issues. It's not even got a trade's worth yet.
Yeah, I just it was where my heart took me. Okay, it's where my heart took me. I'm trying to decide now though, based on this debate, if what I want higher, Detective or Danger Street, because it's a question that I do have to ask myself.
Yeah,
you're debating whether you want to say Danger Street to spite me.
No. I'm asking myself in a vacuum. However, yes, there's a voice at the back of my head that's going, well, let's get spicier if I want the Danger Street, doesn't it? Because now Nightwing's fighting 2-on-1. Oh, not Nightwing, sorry. Connor. I don't know why I said Nightwing.
Am I Nightwing now, apparently?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
He's the NIT wing.
He's
NITE.
You're Jason Todd after Batman's nerfed you with some weird drug.
You're not allowed to defend yourself either. You get that weird gas.
Well,
you get terrified.
Based on that dog attack,
you know. And according to Morrison, Jason was originally ginger, and Bruce made him dye his hair, so he was more consistent with Dick.
Because he was ashamed of having a ginger sidekick.
You think that would make him more expendable, but hey.
He was clearly expendable enough as it was.
Right. Yeah, so we going Danger Street or Tech? Who's going to concede here? Because I can go either way.
Hold on, right. I'm just going to move them close together near the top, right? And I'm going to put them both above Nightwing since we seem to be kind of on that wavelength for now.
I think whichever way around it is, those two are presumably 1 and 2, respectively.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the rest of the list and see if anything's jumping out at me where I'm like, no, it has to be that. But yeah, I think it is probably one of those two.
Yeah, because I can tell you my top 3. It goes Danger Street, Tech, Shazam.
I think Shazam's top 10 material. I don't know if it's high as top 3, but I think it's in the top 10.
I agree. I wouldn't have gone. Like, if I'm gut instinct placing it just in a vacuum, like if you'd asked me just where is it, I'd have thrown 6 out. But that would be without proper consideration.
Without thinking about it, yeah. Okay, maybe we should make some other cuts here.
Even if I remind Pete of Ted, the gorilla that messes everything up, the Connor of gorillas, as we dubbed him.
I mean, I did enjoy the Ted stuff, yeah. Yeah.
Could get you to push it to 5, maybe. Because then that's when I would go Wonder Woman, Nightwing. That's how my top 5 would fall right now.
So you think Wonder Woman above Nightwing, Matt? You're saying that?
Yep.
I can agree with that.
You would have Wonder Woman at 1, so obviously.
Just to sort those two between themselves.
Yeah.
Obviously, you wouldn't say that, Connor, but...
I wouldn't, but I am outvoted on this one.
Okay, that's interesting. Looking at the... This is interesting. So, how many issues of Titans have we had? Like 4? Some of that?
We're at 6. So
we're at 6.
So 6 comes out this week.
It's kind of interesting
as we record.
Considering...
Are you counting any of the event towards...
Well, that's the weird thing, is because it actually builds up to the event, so the event does feel like the next issues of Titans. Like, it does kind of feel like it, even if it isn't really.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird to separate it in my head. I think... in some ways, Titans is slightly more exciting than Nightwing right now because it's like it's fresh, it's new, and it's all these different characters. Because he's focusing on Beast Boy and Raven are getting a lot of time to develop and stuff like that.
Does that make it better, or is it just fresh?
it's tough to say at this point. I think the thing with Nightwing is that it's been very good this year, but the arc that just finished, which is the pirate one, is definitely been my least favorite of the bunch. Partly because pirates, and partly because there's been a lot of Rick Grayson mentions. Cool. So, it's...
Well, it's not just the pirates, though, stuff, too. It's, for me, it was fine on the pirate stuff. Like, I liked the background of Bloodhaven and all that, but it was an okay story. Like, it wasn't Taylor's. I don't feel Taylor was that inspired with it.
But
right?
that said, though, the build up to it, where Nightwing was having to chase the truck or the ambulance or whatever it was, and then they realized they were already on the ship. Like, that issue was excellent. So.
Well, I even liked. It was in Nightwing, right, where the little girl not Trigon. It's what's his name's daughter, sold the soul, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I like that on Nightwing. I thought that was real fun.
There was a lot of good stuff, and there's the issue where, like, this. I think it was this year. The issue where they tried to ruin, like, the party and Bloodhaven, the one that was kind of honouring the fact that they were helping the homeless and stuff like that, and they tried to vandalise. And
I think that was earlier this year.
Yeah, I think so, because that was where Heartless kind of made his big sort of
was
comeback.
The issue with Bat-Mite this year, or Nightmite?
I think
that
so.
was because that was in the lead up to the soul stuff with the little girl.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was this year, because I really like that. Like, that stuff was great.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't want people to think that Nightwing is not being praised this year. It absolutely is. Yeah. It's just, it's maybe not been as consistently a 9 and a 10 as it was before.
Yeah.
So
I could bump it up mine if you guys feel like it's higher than 5.
I think the thing is, like, I would have it higher than 5 in my list because I wouldn't have the Tom King books. But I don't know if I'm having to concede that they're in there. I don't know if it does end up high.
There might be 3 Tom King books in this top 10.
I don't know if I can push.
You fighting for the Penguin in top 10?
Yeah.
Penguin's fantastic.
I could put Penguin top 10, not top 5.
Yeah, no, I'm saying top 10. I'm not saying top 5. I'm saying in the top 10, I think there's 3 Tom King books.
There's no way all 3 of those are top 5.
Oh, no, I wasn't suggesting that. Yeah. No. But I do think...
I could put Penguin at 10. I
think Penguin ekes in there.
I think it depends what else is on the lower end of that list when we get down there.
Yeah, I think that's fair too, because I also...
we have to start making cuts. I don't think City Boy makes it. I'm just going to throw it out there. I think City Boy does not make it.
I'm definitely going to fight for Poison Ivy getting a spot.
Yeah.
And I would throw Penguin at 9 if that means I could have Ivy at 10. Well, that's a bargain I'm willing to make.
We have to eliminate a couple more, or just a few more actually, before we're at that point. Right now we have both World's Finest Batman, Superman, and World's Finest Teen Titans written in this list.
I think get rid of the Teen Titans.
I think so too. I think there was a few issues at the start where I was thinking it might actually end up being better than the Batman Superman book. I think it evened out a little bit as it went on. I
think the main book is a little bit less consistent. I've said this the whole time. It has like a couple of really great issues and then a couple of issues I'm not as hot on. But I think its highs are significantly higher than Teen Titans for me, and even if it's inconsistent in that it's up and down, it's very consistent in being up and down. So I'm guaranteed, hey, if I didn't like this issue, there's only a couple more till I'm back on board.
How strongly do we feel, Connor, about the Blue Wall? Because that had its last 3 issues out of 6.
It's really tough, because those 3 issues are phenomenal. And really, we're probably counting the whole book, because we probably didn't count it last year, because it only had half a story.
I think so, yeah. That sounds right.
And if that's the case, if we're pushing for that whole book, I think that absolutely deserves its spot. But I'd put that above, like, even things I really like Ivy. I think I'd probably put Blue Wall above that.
Because I'm at the point now where I'm looking at this list, and I really like everything except Ivy, which I don't read. Like, we're at 17 books right now. That's where we're down to 17. The 7 need to be cut from this list, right? I kind of hate to say this because I love this book, but I'm thinking Doom Patrol may not make the cut. And I love Doom Patrol. I thought it was great. But if there was one thing I would say about it is that the last 2 issues that tried to kind of pretend that the whole thing had an arc felt a little rushed.
Yep.
Even though the first 4 or 5, which were just these standalone stories, were all fantastic. But
Yeah, I get that not being top 10.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I will cut
I'm okay with that one.
Unstoppable Doom Patrol. We're down to 16. Right.
Is there only room for one Lantern book?
It's tough. I don't know. They're both written down right now.
Yeah.
I would say I can't see JSA being on a top 10. It's only had about 3 issues.
I'm going to go with Connor on this one. I do like JSA. It's very entertaining.
I'm willing to cut it. I don't need the hostility from Connor. It's definitely had more than 3 issues this year.
And let me say, I'm getting a lot of JSA in other books right now with, the Jay Garrick book, Sandman, I'm still reading.
Yeah, but Sandman I dropped, and I dropped Alan Scott as well, so I'm only down to the Jay Garrick book, but...
Yeah, so... but yeah, I get that.
Okay, we're down to 15. So that's... So we're getting there, we're getting to there. So the things that we've kind of decided are definitely on this top 10 somewhere are Tech, Danger Street, Wonder Woman, Nightwing, and to an extent Shazam and maybe Penguin if I've argued my case well enough.
And me and Matt both argued Poison Ivy pretty strongly.
Yeah.
That's true. Poison Ivy pretty strongly too. Yeah. Okay,
So what's left that's not on those?
Action.
Right. The remaining things that we've not discussed yet in any form are Green Lantern War Journal, Birds of Prey, Titans, The Blue Wall, GCPD, The Vigil, Action Comics, and World's Finest.
Man, I really want Birds there, but I can't justify 2 4 issues being in the top 10.
I mean, War Journal's
I don't
4
think I
as
could
well.
justify any 4 issues in the top 10, but...
Yeah. Right, but Wonder Woman, I can justify. I could also justify... Although I can't, that means I'd have to lose War Journal. But War Journal's been... Although, by that same logic of Wonder Woman, we haven't had a full story, though, either.
I mean, that goes
on Green Lantern.
That goes for all of them, but I think 4, because it's a third of the year, I think is about enough to like have a strong opinion on it. And I mean, between those 3, I would rank Wonder Woman,
Birds,
and then War Journal. But I love all 3 of them. Like they're all
me too.
Books that I love. It is tough.
If I have to lose one, it would be War Journal. Because I also... Monto's art's great, but Romero's art's way more my cup of tea. And, I get really excited to see the Romero art and see what other characters I'm going to get to see him draw.
I think... This is...
But also Monto's art when he draws the Revenant, the Radiant Dead, looks so great.
Okay. I think, at this point... I think World's Finest goes.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah.
No argument here.
I don't think, given the things that it's fighting, I think at this point, like, I mean, I'd have it over Poison Ivy, obviously, but I'd say that for all these, so it doesn't really matter.
Right, because you don't read Ivy. Yeah. But if it comes down to Shazam or World's Finest, you're going Shazam, right?
Yes, absolutely. I'm going
that's
Shazam.
The same creative team.
Yeah.
Right. So.
I think the other thing that we can probably lose here at this point is Titans. Like, I love it, but we've got Nightwing. That seems like representation for Taylor's books.
Yeah. I mean...
where's that logic with the 3 Tom King books?
Well, because Nightwing over Titans, however...
Yeah, I'm sorry, but you want Penguin in there over...
Because all
like,
3 Tom King books are better than Titans.
I don't know if Matt agrees with that.
Yeah, I mean, are we including the Beast World stuff? Because if we're including the Beast World stuff...
I mean... Kinda.
I don't know if I would put that. I don't know if I'd put Penguin over including the Beast World stuff.
I mean, maybe Penguin doesn't make it. But if Penguin doesn't make it, then it's more a case of it's not making it because you guys have put Poison Ivy in. But it would have been there if I was. If that slot was free for me to fill.
and I'm okay with that because the Beast World stuff, the stuff with Gar, and what kicks off. Because I don't know how.
Yeah, you're making me sound like a demented Penguin fan. I didn't expect to like a Penguin book. It surprised me. It was very good.
I'm not accusing anybody. It's a very solid book. I love his goons. I love that Vegas issue. That Vegas
love- I
issue
love,
was
like-
fantastic.
Very
You know?
solid book does not describe a top 10 book usually.
Well, I think it's more than solid. I think Matt's underselling it, but
Yeah.
Matt has
trying-
never undersold anything in his life.
yeah, he does. He does.
I oversell everything. How do you think I got Connor into hockey?
Yeah, it worked though.
Yeah, see?
Right, anyway, we're at 14 right now. If you two feel strongly that Penguin can't make the top 10, then I'm happy to cut it. But we're making tough cuts here, and some other people are
Which is
going.
good. I feel like some of the other years we haven't had to make some tough. Like the bottom half of the list has been like, yeah, that'll do.
Okay, it's a sign of a sign of a good year that we had over 20 books to start with. That's a good sign. Absolutely. Right, we're down to 13.
I just want to say at this point, I'm even more annoyed at Night Terrors now because some of these books could have had an extra couple of issues that we could be talking about.
I mean, some of them didn't start till after, but yeah, I mean, Green Lantern could have had a couple more. I think
Nightwing could have had a couple more.
Titans could have had a couple more, yeah.
Yeah, like I say, it's not every book, but like some of these could have had more, and that's frustrating.
Okay, we've got 13. We have to cut 3 more books. Okay.
What are the? Well, we had Blue Wall. Was
Blue
in
Wall,
there.
Titans is still there. We got the Vigil, Action Comics, Birds of Prey, and the 2 Green Lantern books.
I'm
I
okay
would
with losing
say-
the Vigil.
I would say to lose. Action,
I don't know if I agree
clearly.
with those in the Vigil.
I prefer Vigil over Action, and definitely over at least one of the Green Lantern books.
Oh,
No, I put that's out no because I like both Green Lantern books and Action.
Oh,
I know I like Action a lot. I just think
Yeah.
it's been so nowhere near as good as last year.
there is something funny to me about Matt not getting any Superman books on this top 10. That does make me laugh.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
That does make me
I'll
laugh.
gladly sacrifice Pam to get Superman in there. So you better watch it, Connor. And I can't help it. Williamson's writing the other one, and I had to deal with Bendis, so I'm getting action on here. Period.
Oh, that's so funny.
How do you feel about Action?
It's a good question given the exchange that just took place.
I'm waiting for Pete to go. There's too much Bibbo.
Action's been really good this year, right? I've loved this stuff with the Blue Earthers, Nora Stone, even the weird twists that happened with her recently, which I won't spoil in case Carter's not read it yet. I'm loving this stuff with the family. I will say though, if you compare it to the Warworld Saga stuff from the year before, there's not as strong a through line, like, you know, a big arc that's connecting it all together.
Not
And
a strong art.
not as strong art. It's been obviously, I mean, there's been good art, but it's definitely been a lot more hit and miss. Maybe a point against it is that they insisted on having 2 backups after Warworld, and for the most part, I'm just skipping them now because I just don't want to read them. Maybe, and I'm not saying you should always like
No,
Detective
but
always.
it makes the price of the book significantly higher.
So you know, it's this maybe a negative, maybe not a negative we'd include for the discussion of the top 10, but certainly something I want to mention.
Yeah. Also, by and large, Detectives backups have been pretty
They've
good.
been better.
Not all of them,
They've been
but like
better.
No.
most of them.
I mean,
Yeah.
the Dan Waters stuff has really been fantastic for tech. So
So, this is tough. This is tough. I feel like there's a lot of books here now that we're deciding between cutting, and I feel like they all occupy a similar grade in my head for different reasons. And it's making it very tough to. And I think let's take the 2 Green Lantern books, for example, right? Now, fairness and logic and just going by pure cold math would dictate that we cut one of those, so there's 1 Green Lantern book. But the problem with this is that I felt like I've went back and forth of which one is better. Like, when War Journal started, I was like, oh yeah, War Journal is even better than the main Green Lantern book. But then the next issue of Green Lantern was the one where he was trying to chase the jets that Sinestro had set upon, and I was like, this is a great action scene. The action scenes are so good in this book. And I go back and forward, and it makes it really tough to pick between them.
all right, but so that's where do
But
you
are they
prefer the
both-
Zermanico art?
Are they both
or
better than all the other books? Is the
the
question.
Montos art?
It's This is not obviously the only thing, right? I would say they both have better art than all the other books that we're still deciding between.
Which ones are left?
Well, not Birds of Prey, actually. Sorry, I'll take that one back. But
Okay.
Titans, Blue Wall, Vigil, and Action Comics.
Yeah, the art's better than all of them, with the exception of Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
Which I think the art on that is better than, for me, both Green Lantern books, but that's partially a taste thing.
No disagreements here on that one.
Yeah, I'd have to... Depends on my mood, because they're all good, but they're so different.
They are different.
Depends on my mood.
Yeah. On the Green Lantern books, right? And I don't just know if it's recency bias, but my gut's saying War Journal over regular Green Lantern.
I think with Johnson, I have, I guess, he's got more trust to pay things off, I guess. But
I feel like he has something to say more than Adams does. Like in the same way that War World, like the whole time you're like, oh, this has a point. There's a through line. There's all these strong themes. I get that feeling more with War Journal, whereas with Green Lantern, it's good. It's very good. I'm enjoying it a lot, but I don't feel like it has the same weight.
yeah,
Even though because there's more of it, I might feel like I've over the course of the year, I'd say I probably enjoyed it more right now, but that doesn't necessarily make it better in the long run.
Right, I'm going to pretend Poison Ivy's not there just now, just as an exercise, because I want to say, let's say I had that slot, and I'd still have to cut 2 because I'd only be down to 12. What 2 would I cut? Right, I mean, I have to cut 3, but what 2 would I cut?
You can start with cutting 2 and then worry about the other one after. Yeah.
Right, so I'm looking at the rest of these. Like, I hate to do it, because I said I didn't want to earlier, but the more I'm looking at this list, the more I'm leaning towards cutting the Vigil. I love the concepts, I love the ideas, it was a great read, I'm looking forward to seeing more of them. It's fantastic. But the art did bounce around more than one artist, which did, I think, hurt it in the back half a little bit. And it did... Like, there was so many new characters introduced that sometimes it was a little rough when I started a new issue, just sort of like remembering who everyone was there for a little bit. I think it's going to read fantastically on a reread, and I think I might want to reread it before this whatever their comeback is.
There no one is. So I would say, can you name off the lineup right now, off the top of your head?
There's Shapeshiftery one. There's there's a Super Speed one. There's the Genghis Kid. I don't know any of the names. I can't remember a single name.
I remember Arclight.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, that sounds familiar. That's the electric one. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I can never remember the other ones. I know that the Speed one has a name that's like that. Along those lines, but I can't remember the characters' names. So I remember the story beats on the Vigil. But like,
it's just so
dense.
This is fair, but personally, I'm terrible with names.
Sure.
Like half the time when I'm reading anything like outside the big two, that hasn't got like characters that have been there for decades that I know anyway. I recognize all the characters, but I could probably name you 1 or 2 at most. But if after a couple of months of not reading it, while I'm reading it, it's fine, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, the way I look at it is
good writers introduce every character every issue, essentially. Not like an introduction, but they'll use their name.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Look, the way I look at this just now is that everything so far has made it to the top 13. That's pretty good, right? They've
good
done
year.
well. They've done well, right?
The 13's a good number.
So I think I nominate to cut the Vigil.
Okay.
Are we agreeing with that?
I am. That
Second.
means I don't have to cut action.
I don't really have a choice. I mean, if it was me right now, out of those slots, I would have been cutting probably one of the Green Lantern books, probably War Journal, just based off of the amount of I had on the other one. I'd have cut. Personally, I know you do because Sam and Sam, but I would have cut Birds of Prey just based off of number of issues. Again, the same thing I was talking about earlier. And I would have cut Action Comics personally, but
I think I want to fight to keep Birds of Prey. I know it's only been 4 issues, but I think part of the reason, and this is also part of the reason why I think Wonder Woman for me has to be on the top 10, is that it's filling a different void that wasn't being filled. There's the type of book with the type of character bounce, and Titans is kind of in the same vein as well to an extent, but that's doing big event things. Birds of Prey is a team of mostly B-listers and misfits, and when that sort of stuff is pulled off well, but it's like, but the fact that it's doing almost like Themyscirian Lovecraftian stuff on top of that with its last teaser.
I do absolutely love the book. I just want to make that very clear.
So I think we're cutting Vigil. I mean, I feel like we've
Matt seconded it, so I feel like you kind of have to.
Okay, Vigil's done. We've got 12. We need to cut 2 more.
Pete, how do you feel about Action Comics?
Again,
I'm sorry, but like every other book there is better than it this year.
See, I don't agree, because I wouldn't put either of the Lantern books over it. But that's just me. Again, and it's not just because it's Superman, but I am enjoying the family stuff up until the reveal of who is leading Blue Earth, which that still has it out. But I really enjoyed the last issue, which had Superman and Constantine running around. That's a nice odd pair.
Bringing up Constantine was in an issue is not a good way to get me on your side, Matt.
No, but it is
He's trying to swing me back around.
I know I need to swing.
It's the one issue I've not read. I read up to where it is on Infinite to get caught up. So I'm like a month behind on that.
I gotta say, I am leaning towards cutting Action. I am leaning towards.
I can't justify having 3 4-issue books in the top 10 and not Action. So if we have Wonder Woman, we have Birds, and we have War Journal.
But one of those still might be one of the ones that gets cut.
Right.
Just because
there still might be only 2 4-issue books and no Action.
Mm-hmm. I can't abide that.
You might be a void here, Matt. I'm sorry to say.
I can't. I cannot.
I mean, honestly, out of the how many are we deciding here between? We're deciding between 6 books, right? Which 2 to cut of these 6? The one I want to fight for most to keep in is Birds of Prey. It's the one I'm most passionate about keeping in that top 10. So,
but remind me of the 6 again. It's Birds, Action,
Titans, GCPD, The Blue Wall, and both Green Lantern books.
So Matt obviously didn't read Blue Wall.
Nope.
No.
I personally think that objectively, that's the best book out of all those 6.
I can see the argument for that. It's kind of a weird thing though, because this was like, back in the first couple of months of the year. There's almost a little bit of
January through March. Yeah.
There's almost a little bit of just time bias. Not even well, I guess it is recency bias in a sense, but like more distance bias.
Well, yeah, but by that logic, you've got recency bias for some of the newer ones, right?
Yeah, I mean, arguably, but I think it's almost something you can't really say in a sense, because it's not our fault that DC launched a lot of their new books in the back half of the year.
Well, they have to launch them somewhere, I suppose.
Yeah. So I think if I'm cutting
like gut reaction, which 2 are you picking? Like just gut, which 2 are you keeping out of that, hypothetically?
Or cutting, you mean?
Oh, cut. All right, yeah, cutting.
I would cut Action. That's so upset.
You're a monster.
And I would I think I would cut Action, and then I would cut either Titans, which hurts me to say that because I love Titans, but it is more Tom Taylor Nightwing and Friends. You know, like I feel like one representation of that feels like enough to me for whatever reason. Whereas both Green Lantern books are very different to each other, so I understand why I'd want both of those.
There's more of an argument to keep both of those than
Action and Titans would be, I think, would be what I'd cut. If I can't cut Poison Ivy anyway, then those two is what I'd cut. How do you feel, Connor?
Just hypothetically, just one little hypothetical for you.
Yeah.
If you could have cut Poison Ivy, which one of Action and Titans would you have kept?
It might have been Action at that point. I might have kept Action.
Well, now I just want to put Ivy to spite Pete.
It'd be tough. But I already agreed it would be there, but we're not even talking about cutting that.
I know.
Yeah, no, that was a true hypothetical.
Yeah. Look, Matt, it's a very good year. It's very competitive, okay? The standard this year is... This arguably has been the best year for a total number of comics, you know?
I think we probably had stronger top threes before this.
I think I agree with that. I think we've had years where the sort of 3 or 4 peaks have been absurdly higher than this. But I think this is easily the best year for the widest selection that we all really like.
I don't think we've ever had to this level of a discussion over the bottom couple.
No,
that's not just
haven't.
This internal politicking of you keep your book for this spot. Where this is no.
No, it's actually we're actually having to bargain and figure things out.
There's a lot of really good books down here.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna have to, if I'm losing Action Comics, I just have to know that at least it's not Batman. So it's still good, right? It's Matt. Yeah.
Not only did we have one of the widest selections of any years we have done this, Batman was never even in the conversation.
No. But my point is, for as much as we joke about Superman with Williamson, right? At least neither of the super books are as bad as Batman is.
Oh, actually, hold on. Now you've brought up Batman. I've just realised something. The Brave and the Bold story, I never had this in this list. I forgot to nominate it.
I don't think it's enough to be in this list.
I probably agree with that. I just wanted to say it, though. I want to put it forth like the others.
He's putting it forth just to cut
it'll be 23rd out of 22.
I wouldn't be 23rd. It'd at least be 15th.
18th.
But,
no, I honestly, I'd probably put it above Penguin. Now that I'm thinking, I had forgotten about it. I'd probably put it above Penguin, so I'd have been fighting for that.
Wait, but how would you put it above if you forgot about it? Because you brought up Garrett's even earlier, and it didn't even enter your mind.
I forgot to nominate it when we were doing the books. I guess it's weird because it's in an anthology book, so it's how do you count it? You know, do you count the whole thing? Because I didn't read the rest of them.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I want to acknowledge it's one of the best stories of the year. Have at it.
That's up there.
All right.
But yeah, so that's what I just have to rest myself on. That Action didn't make the top 10, but it was close.
It was a lot closer than basically every Bat book except Tech.
Yeah.
Right, but that's in a special, that's in a special run right now.
All right. Action Comics has been cut. We've got 11 books here. It wasn't even the last one to be cut, which is even funnier.
First Punk shows up in WWE. Now Action doesn't make the 10. Everything's coming up Millhouse.
All right. Okay. Look. It's easily in my top 20, okay? It's easily in my top 20.
If it's any consolation, Matt, it might have been in my top 10 once you remove the King books.
True, but that's 2 books you're removing there to get that. That's
yeah.
That's the thing. I can't justify Action over Wonder Woman or Birds of Prey. So if I have to argue between those, right?
So you understand at least the...
I can't. You know what I mean?
So
I'm look, Action wasn't even in my top 5, so I can't
Yeah. What's left for this last spot now?
Yeah, I think when you go into a shared top 10 like this, I think you have to fight for the stuff that's in your personal top 5 to all make the 10. But the idea of you're fighting for your number 8, there's it's likely not going to make it unless everyone agrees that it's the number 8. You're probably not getting it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what's left? We got both Green Lantern books, Birds of Prey, Titans, and GCPD, The Blue Wall. I feel like the arguments could be that Blue Wall Matt didn't read, so maybe that's skewing that for cutting it. Unless
I think the three arguments of what left to cut, I would think, is that you've got, well, there's two Green Lantern books, so you cut one of those, or the argument of, well, Titans is basically just more Nightwing, so you don't need that. Like, I think those are the three arguments that you go with and choose which argument of those wins out.
Yeah.
So I would say this, that out of the five, right, they're listed, I didn't read Blue Wall, but I read the rest of them. I would have Titans at the bottom of that one, right? If I'm ranking them, I'd probably have Birds, the two Green Lantern books, and then Titans.
I think both Green Lantern books stay because they're so different, right? I don't feel like they're both branded Green Lantern, obviously, but they feel like they're both telling
like
very different
Batman
stories.
And Detective.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas maybe right now, Action and Superman are a bit, not in quality, but in terms of the space, they're a bit more similar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
does Titans go then? Like, cause
I think it's Titans or Blue Wall, and I feel like how strongly do we feel Blue Wall deserves to be there versus how strongly does Matt feel that it shouldn't be there because he's not read it?
Personally, I feel Blue Wall is like, if it was me, I think it's like objectively like a top 5 book. But reality is, I think it deserves a spot in a top 10. It's that good.
Yeah. I think
I can't say anything because I'm getting Ivy on one side and I got Danger Street on the other, so I can't.
I think we cut Titans. I think, and it's not a knock against it. It's just that we have Nightwing, and I think this time next year we could be saying that Titans is better than Nightwing, but I don't think we can say that yet.
No, and if we have another good year like this, it might be another case of, well, we have Titans instead of Nightwing.
Yeah. Depending on what year either of them have had, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Titans is gone. We have the 10 books. Now we have to argue as to what the order of the 10 books are.
So we had the 1 and 2 spot. Maybe not the order, but the 2 books.
Yeah. The double Ds. We had the 2 Ds. Detective and Danger Street. We then have other obvious picks were Wonder Woman, Shazam, Poison Ivy, and Nightwing. I don't know if that means they automatically go into the next 4 slots, and then the 4 that were left from all the debate we just had go in the last 4 slots. I'm not so sure if it does shake up like that.
I think it's interesting because, like, Poison Ivy got in because me and Matt were both adamant that it should be. But I also think something like Blue Wall is a better book than Poison Ivy in my top 10.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, admittedly, this is kind of weird for Danger Street, which is undoubtedly going to go much, much higher. But do you put Poison Ivy and Blue Wall at 9 and 10 because they're both missing one of us, and it just kind of feels like a very diplomatic place to put them both?
Yeah.
It does, yeah.
I think it makes some sense to me.
Let's put them at 9 and 10, whatever order.
Okay.
And let's see how it shakes out with the rest of them.
All right,
Two.
okay. So I'll put them at 9, 10 for now. Okay. I think I'll agree that Detective can be number 1. I think if I'm picking between that and Danger Street, I think my heart's saying Detective between those two. And since that's what Connor wants, and since Matt seemed pretty...
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I'm not...
I think that's fair, and Danger can go to number 2. So that's 1 and 2 done with.
So now we just got the other 6.
Yeah, after that, you've got this middle portion, like what gets to the number 3 spot.
What we got left? Nightwing, Wonder Woman,
Shazam,
Birds of Prey.
Both Green Lanterns, Birds of Prey.
Okay.
I think... I would probably at least bump Shazam above Nightwing.
Okay.
Yeah, my gut instinct was probably Shazam for the next spot, but then, you two debate amongst that.
Yeah. Again, Shazam's in my 3 spot on my personal top 10.
Where are you feeling about Wonder Woman, Matt? Where do you want Wonder Woman to go? Because obviously...
I mean, it's in the top 5. I wouldn't be like, I could have it at 4. Like, and that wouldn't be, because I do think it is better than Nightwing.
Because obviously,
Right.
I was kind of gunning for it at the top, so I clearly just want it to go as high as I can get it, really.
Out of interest, Matt, where do you feel just between Wonder Woman, Birds of Prey, and War Journal, the 3-4 issue books? Like, where do you rank those?
So that's how I would have them ranked: is Wonder Woman, Birds of Prey, War Journal.
Yeah, same order as me, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, how about this, Matt? Wonder Woman versus Shazam, because there's not that big of an issue count between them. Like, Shazam's only on like issue 7 or something like that.
They fill such different roles, right?
They're very different, yeah.
So, like, I enjoy them both immensely. And then Sampere art versus Mora art. So I would really have them really equal, you know? And that could be silly coming next year when Wonder Woman, you know, Sampere just keeps rolling out hit after hit with Kane, right? You know what I mean? That said, if we're factoring the backups into there, the art for those last two have been really wonky.
I wouldn't, just because we're not really counting the backups for the other stuff for the most part.
We kind of did for Action. That was not right. Was that not a factor?
I guess it was a slight factor in tech in that they've all been quite good.
I mentioned it, but I also did say that it's not necessarily relevant to the top 10. I did that sentence did come out of my mouth.
Right. So,
especially since
honestly,
Shazam doesn't even have backups, so it's kind of a weird comparison.
Yeah. Right. On the thing, I get more enjoyment, I think, out of Shazam than Wonder Woman, just on a pure, it's fun to read. Again, Ted, you have the dinosaur with the monocle, the auditor, you know, just all the stuff with the Shazam family. So I would put Shazam over Wonder Woman myself.
I wouldn't, but obviously Connor would put Shazam over Wonder Woman. So,
I did also say I would have had Shazam next at the start of this conversation before it became Shazam versus Wonder Woman. That was my gut next book anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess Shazam goes next then. Obviously, I would have Wonder Woman over Nightwing. I don't know if you agree with that, Matt.
I do.
Okay.
That's how my list goes anyways.
All right, well, so right now we got Shazam at 3, Wonder Woman at 4, and Nightwing at 5.
So
It's
next,
a question of it's the Birds and the 2 Lantern books. Do we put any of those over Nightwing?
That's a question. I don't think so. I think 5 feels right for Nightwing for me this year.
Yeah.
And you could probably make an argument for Birds, but I don't know if it would be a successful argument.
I think maybe could get there, but I don't think it's proven itself there yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would put Birds over the 2 Green Lantern books, though, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't disagree there.
You have the 2 Lantern books next, back to back?
Yeah, well, I feel like there's an actual instinct to want to have them separated, but I also think that if you do it just to separate them, you're also kind of...
validates things, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, do we feel one way or the other about which Green Lantern book is the better of the 2?
Yeah, my gut says War Journal, right? But, like you pointed out, the next Green Lantern could come out and just have a killer.
I mean,
I think my gut is for what's already out, Green Lantern, but long term, I think War Journal has the higher potential and the higher ceiling.
I mean, credit to Jeremy Adams for it being this much of a tough choice, to be honest, because I think if you'd asked me before I read either of them based on just who the writers were, I would have said probably War Journal is going to...
And you were enjoying his Flash already quite a bit.
Yeah, I was. And
you were the one that was really beating that Flash drum for a while.
Mm-hmm. He beat that Flash drum so hard that it got me back reading Flash.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, given Connor wants Lantern over War Journal, I almost feel like I want to agree with that, just for the simple fact that Green Lantern by Adams is more of a surprise, more of a pleasant surprise, arguably out of the 2.
Even factoring in those 2 Night Terrors issues?
No, they don't count.
They don't count.
Okay.
I'm not putting that on Adams. That's not his fault.
That's a separate book.
That's true.
That's Green Lantern Night Terrors. They're not included here.
No.
Okay, fair.
No. Yeah. And if you give me any more cheek, Matt, I'll make you rank all the Night Terrors books.
Give me a list and I'll rank. We'll start at the bottom and work our way up.
There is no up. There is only down.
True.
I mean, okay, we kind of tentatively have a list here then, based on all those little debates. Number 1, Detective Comics. 2, Danger Street. 3, Shazam. 4, Wonder Woman. 5, Nightwing. 6, Birds of Prey. 7, Green Lantern. 8, Green Lantern War Journal. 9, Poison Ivy. And 10, GCPD, The Blue Wall.
I'd swap the bottom 2 around.
I mean, I'm cool with that because I read one of them.
I would not. No.
Yeah, but you didn't read the other one.
No. So I guess we have to defer to Connor, who's the only one that read.
But
both
he
of
read
them.
both, yeah. So what he says goes
That's
here.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we have to defer.
Okay.
Blue
But
Wall.
it's Connor. Do we feel good doing that, Pete?
As funny as it would be to say, we can't trust them.
Yeah.
Like, I read one, you read the other, Connor read both, so Connor gets to sort them.
I mean, that's what logic dictates, but
Well, I love Poison Ivy. I really do.
I know.
But Blue Wall's just a better book.
That's fine. I'm not going to argue too much.
All right, then.
Again, lock it.
In that case, our locked top 10 DC Comics of 2023 are number 10, Poison Ivy. Number 9, GCPD, The Blue Wall. 8, Green Lantern War Journal. 7, Green Lantern. 6, Birds of Prey. 5, Nightwing. 4, Wonder Woman. 3, Shazam. 2, Danger Street. And 1, the best book of 2023 is Detective Comics. And do note that there were over 10 other books considered for this top 10, so it was a very good year overall. And we never even mentioned this as we were talking about it, but Wonder Woman's only King's Run, not the previous book that existed earlier in the year.
We probably should have mentioned that.
Yeah, we never once even thought to mention that.
Like, wow, they're not bringing up Conrad and
Clinton.
Cloonan at all. Weird.
I liked that run, but it would never have been top 10 material.
Oh, no,
It ran out of gas. Once you weren't doing the show as regularly, I stopped reading it just because, Pete wasn't reading it.
I finished it off.
Yeah.
It was solid. Like, I never felt like I wanted to drop it, but I think the strongest part of that run was still that first arc, whatever that was, the stuff with all the gods.
Yeah,
Yep.
2.5 years ago. God, it went on so long. Anyway, here we are. Top 10 books of the year, done and dusted. I'm sure people were yelling at their podcast devices.
Justice for Action Comics, guys.
Hey, I'd have it there over Poison Ivy. Although there were some other things I probably would have had over Action that we cut. But that's.
See?
But no, like top 15, Matt. That's promise.
Yeah,
Top 15 for
fine.
sure.
Yeah, I'll give it that.
Yeah. I love how
Is this the first year without a Superman book?
It
Yes.
may be, yeah. I love how it's only controversial because Matt's really upset by it. Like, we cut a lot of good books,
We did.
but
Yeah,
Matt's...
he's still good action. But
It was
I got
almost the
Shazam
last
in the top. I got Shazam in the top 3, so
Oh,
I
man.
really should.
Just think, there's a good chance that'll happen against next year because Action's doing its rotating
Yeah.
team thing, and Superman's still going to be Williamson, as far as we know.
Hey,
So,
some of those rotating teams might be great,
Yeah, but
Maybe.
it's for a short stint still. You know what I mean?
but
Like,
we know at
but
least,
they're all great.
yeah, but we know 3 of them on Sir Williamson. So,
Yeah, never mind. Hey, but that's like losing the 2 months that we did for Night Terrors, so
maybe, but we just have to hope the rest of it's good enough to
outweigh it. Yeah.
to pull the weight. So at this point, we could sort of look ahead and just sort of 2024 hopes and if there's anything we want to get into. They're already teasing there's going to be a big summer event, of
Shocking.
course. Yeah.
I kind of miss when we didn't. I know this might sound weird, but there's been too many recently. Because there was a point where we went like 3 or 4 years, like no event, and it was
yeah.
By the time when that next event came, I was like, oh, this is really nice. This. But now it's like 3 a year.
These feel like a lot like mini events. They're not. They don't feel like yeah. Dark Crisis was a bigger, had that bigger feeling, but
these don't feel like the big.
Big.
Yeah, like I think if you look at big events, you think Blackest Night, anything with a crisis in the title, more or less.
Yeah.
Metal and death metal. I feel like Beast World feels bigger than some of these other ones we've had recently, but it still doesn't feel like it's on that level of.
No, it just. I'm a little concerned that by the time we do get to that next one at that level, I'm going to be a little bit numb to it because of all these that we've just had over the last 3 years.
But then you'll be able to, if it's good, you'll be pleasantly surprised because you had your guard down. You know, so it works out. But yeah, it is kind of getting a little bit tiresome, like them doing these big tie-in books. You know, I mean, I guess that's better than stopping books to tie in where it's unnecessary. But man, those first two were really, really rough for Beast World. So I would like for them to stop doing as much of those coming up.
I liked the idea of what they had with the anthology ones. I think that was during Metal, maybe, or the last Metal.
With Death Metal.
Yeah, where they had a few. There was only one tie-in a month, but it was like an 80-pager and had 4 or 5 stories in it. I think I like that idea more than here's 6 tie-ins over the next 6 weeks, and all of them are full issues and mostly all pointless. The thing, and if there is one good one, it's really annoying because you never know which one it's going to be in advance.
Yeah. No multiverse stories, please. I need a break.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's all I ask. That's all I really ask, to be honest. Yeah. I don't know. Here's a fun category to pick a winner for. Most book. Not a bad book. Just The first one that came to my mind was Batman and Robin by Williamson.
Yeah.
That's pretty
It's just that's fine. I can read it, but that set my world on fire.
I'd say for a lot of it, Williamson Superman.
Oh.
I kind of feel, it's not a terrible book, but it's mostly how I feel after the issues.
It feels like we're just describing how Williamson makes us feel in general, to be honest.
Yeah, that wasn't intentional. That was just.
Yeah, it's tough.
For next year too, I want more Black Label books that aren't just Batman, because we have a deep roster.
Sure.
And I feel like 80% of the Black Label books that have come out.
I mean, the last 3 months, I've had multiple Batmans. You've had I said 3 months. You had
we did
Sea Madness, Gargoyles, the Jason Aaron one.
Yeah, we did.
We had Andromeda last year, right?
Yeah, we did finish the Swamp Thing one this year. That finally came out.
We did start the Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Wade book.
Yeah.
So I'd like more Black Label variants here because they're still going to be good. Don't get me wrong. Gargoyle, which I don't know if you know this, Connor, but I forgot I read the first issue, and me and Pete had I was like, no, I didn't read it, and he goes, I think you did. And when I went to start reading it, I go,
not only that, I said, I'm pretty sure you did because you said this, and I quoted something Matt said to me when we talked about it, and he was adamant that he hadn't. 2 days later, I get a message. You were right. I read this.
Yeah, because I went and I got it, and I went into my collection. I was like, oh no, I have this. Oh, I read this. Okay, well, now I must have said that to Pete, and it wasn't Connor. So, but yeah, there's a lot. When they come out, that came out. The last two came out, or the last one came out at the same time as City is Madness. So that's just a lot of Batman content.
Yeah.
On one week.
It's not quite Black Label, but I hope they keep up the. I forget the name of the initiative. They gave us City Boy, Vigil, and
We Are Legends.
Yeah. I hope we get more of those. Not necessarily those 3 books, but just I want more from that line.
Yeah,
something different, something that's not as traditional superhero-y. Yeah. Because all 3 of those are very distinct stories. The Spirit World, City Boy, and the Vigil.
Yeah, I'll give worst issue 1 of the year. Admittedly, a bit of recency bias here, but Speed Force issue 1 was absolute gobshite. So
Ah, well, I'll add that to my catch-up list then.
Yeah, you know, I'll add maybe issue 2 for that same designation.
Why did you go back for 2, Matt?
No, not on Speed Force, but on Fire and Ice. Pete really hated the first issue.
I did
I was
hate
like,
the first issue of that,
I'm gonna
yeah.
give this a chance. I got through the second issue and go, I can't do this.
Yeah, if you like
it's
social
way too-
media, if you like social media talk, Fire and Ice is for you. If you like
Yes.
Wallace talking to was it Connor
Avery?
Kent? Oh, Avery's
Oh.
there, but Connor Kent was there,
but
right?
Connor Kent. Yep, they're playing that.
And they're playing
Smash Brothers.
They're playing a fake video game, and all they're doing is talk to the point where Wallace at one point actually says the code out loud as he's fighting someone, so he does
Yeah.
the move that he did in the video game. It's like, ugh. Yeah.
And we thought,
Awful.
well, maybe it was just the first issue. We won't read the second. And then there's part of the tie-in for Peace World, Central City stuff. Same writer, same issues,
Yeah.
and that 8-page story.
That was the time. Shout only 2 issues, so really wasn't eligible for anything. But weirdly promising is that new Outsiders book. Interesting.
Because it's very, it's like, I thought it was just gonna be like a Wildstorm take, and then issue 2 came out and it was that at all.
Yeah.
So it feels like it's gonna be kind of like DC X-Files, almost.
Kinda. Yeah. It's definitely different to everything else, and if it keeps
Yep.
up, yeah.
Yeah, another promising 2 issues is Aaron and Monkey's Batman Off-World. Those
I
first
did
2
not-
issues.
I love that first issue. I wanted to because I'm a big Aaron fan, but
Yeah.
okay, with the caveat that maybe issue 2 helps, but I did not understand Batman's headspace at all in that first issue.
I mean, I
That's
think
why it's kind of great, though, because it's
I'm like,
out there.
he's out there just to fight aliens for
Yeah.
the challenge.
No, don't get me wrong.
That's
Don't-
kind of what it felt like.
to be fair, I think the raw concept, you have to kind of just get over it. But once if you get over that and just enjoy it for what it is, it's pretty well done.
It's not that it's not fun. I just spent the whole time like, because for a lot of it, I was like, oh, okay, he's got a point. That's why he's out here. There's something he's doing. And then by the end of the issue, I was like, but it's just because he got beat up and he wants to go fight aliens to be
Okay.
He
strong.
wants to learn to punch aliens better.
Well, okay, award for the book that Matt stuck with longer than he should have, and we all knew he was going to eventually drop, goes to, I think, Wildcats.
Yes.
I love that there's numerous things that book could have been that didn't have to be Wildcats.
Well, right now it's Green Arrow, but he's not dropped it yet.
Green Arrow. Yeah. Definitely didn't buy Green Arrow 7, waiting to log on to read, find out what's going on. Wildcats,
honestly,
I think I got to issue 6 or 7, and then there was a week that it just stacked up. I was like, okay, I think I'm done, and then never looked back. And I thought, sometimes I'll get, messages from people on Twitter, like, hey, you gonna ever get back to it? Not one person asked about Wildcats. So really, I was just reading it for my own, on there. So, but at least it wasn't Red Hood.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That's
The biggest loss of the year, though, is the final true death of Comixology.
Oh yeah,
The
of
fact
course.
that you can't even use the app anymore. The one good thing that was left, they had to destroy.
Yeah.
And honestly, reading on that Kindle app is just a chore.
It's depressing. It's like, why can't you just leave it alone? And we've been saying this for like 2 years now, because ever since they first did the initial swap.
Update.
It was a ball like using their storefront because it was objectively worse in every single way for comics. But whatever, fine. But you had a perfectly functional app that worked. You didn't even have to spend effort updating it. It worked.
Why not just update the graphic on the app to say Kindle Comixology, and just leave it be as it was? Just change the logo to include the word Amazon or Kindle, and call it
it
a
wasn't
day.
theirs, so they had to destroy it.
I hate
And I
it.
will say, I don't use guided view, and it was easy to just not fall into guided view on Comixology. The number of times I've accidentally gone into guided view since it's gone to Kindle, I don't know what they changed. I don't know if it's just my fat thumbs, but the number of times I have to go, damn, because of it, It drives me nuts.
Oh, it's just so bad.
This sounds like one of those video games where if you die twice, you'll get a little pop-up saying, "Hey, would you like to decrease the difficulty to easy?"
Yeah.
That's what it's doing for Matt. It's assuming he's struggling. It's like, "Hey, would you like to be told what the next panel is, Matt?"
Maybe on some of them, some of the art it jumps around, it might help, but it mostly doesn't. You know,
Very rarely I've thought, do you know what? I'm gonna go on guided view just to see where they determine this lettering is supposed to go, because I'm like, this makes no sense to me. I'm like, what do they think? But and I like that it exists as a feature for for people who use it, especially for people who read on their phones. Anything that gets more people reading comics is a good thing.
Yeah. So just
I use it.
Other issue ones, just to name and shame that books that never really went beyond issue 1 for us. Superboy Man of Tomorrow, remember that?
Who?
Hey, guys, I only read 2 issues of that. You should be proud of me.
Give the man a hand. He pulled off the impossible.
Yeah.
Peacemaker Tries Hard. I think that was just Matt that read that one as well.
Yeah, I fell behind it. I fully intend to go back and read that because it wasn't terrible. I just, it was a timing thing.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I can always tell which because usually I'll put issue 1s at the top, but sometimes they feel like really small. I'll just put them down the bottom of the list anyway. And I think that's the ones that are like, okay, they're really on shaky ground. They need to impress. Yeah. If I'm not even putting them at the top of the list, that's an issue 1. They need to wow us. Steelworks issue 1 was pretty rough. That didn't go anywhere for us.
I did not like that.
Yeah. That was the one with the really weird, like, try to be hip dialogue.
Yep.
Yeah, rough time. Yeah, weird year. And, oh, God, it's just depressing looking at July and August because it's nothing but Night Terrors books.
Yep. I'm organizing my comics. I was 18 months behind, and I got to the Night Terrors sorting. I was like,
pick it up and put it in the bin.
Yeah, I wish I could, but I spent way too much money.
Tim literally had 2 more kids in the time that Matt let his comics pile up.
Yeah, you could just stick them in a charity bag. Send them to a charity shop.
I keep saying I need to go through my comics because I have over 25 short boxes in my garage. I need to go through.
That's a lot of short boxes.
Yeah, dude, I have a problem.
Yeah.
So. But yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see what next year brings. I don't think the first few months have any big new things starting. There's a few minis and stuff, obviously, like Neil Before Zod and stuff like that. But no big new ongoings announced in the first few months. They're probably waiting for either the event to hit or maybe after the event before they announce any new books.
So they'll all be only like on 4 issues again when we get to do this next year.
Very probably. Probably. But we'll see what comes. But yeah, as I said earlier, I want another book from Thompson. I want another book from
Johnson.
I'd like a Tamaki book, please. And
Les Williamson.
And if I'm being really, really, really like ASCII, since we got Jeff Parker in that Santa Claus book, I'll take more Jeff Parker in a book, please.
Yeah.
So
was that any good?
Yes. Yeah, I think you will like it. I think you will like what it's doing with the Santa Norse mythology. And get this, Connor, it's in continuity.
What? Okay. I thought it wasn't in continuity, so I was just ignoring it and like being, because do you know what really annoyed me about it? Only 3 issues of the 4 were out before Christmas. And by the time the 4th issue comes out, I'm like, Christmas is done now. I don't want to read this. I was like, why? Why would you do that?
I gotta see what happened with Krampus.
Yeah. So. There's like an editor's note in issue 2 saying, remember this back in, Lazarus Reign? And I'm like, oh, okay, we're just in continuity, all right.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. What is it? Just something really interesting for DC Infinite. They actually, instead of being a month behind, every so often, like when there's an issue 1, like they'll put that up early so you can try it out, and maybe some people will try that and go and buy the rest of the book. With this, because it's obviously Christmassy, they were just putting up every issue as it came out.
Oh, wow.
Ah, very nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, which was I think, because it made sense, right? Because if this starts on there in January, I suspect most people are never going to touch it.
Yeah. But, they'll probably say, I'll wait till next December, but then forget it exists.
That was exactly my plan. Which I may have
You
to
should
reconsider
definitely-
now if it's in continuity.
Yeah,
It's in,
definitely check it out.
in continuity, and it does a lot to sort of tie in like Santa mythos to DC and
And it makes sense. The fact that like the JLA have met gods before, why can't Santa be in that world?
and we won't spoil it, but let's just say at least one member of the Justice League has already met Santa.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll get to it next December.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Now, Jeff Parker, what would you want him on?
Well, the book.
Aquaman again.
I mean, yeah, his Aquaman was really good. I don't know if I'd want him back on Aquaman though.
Yeah.
Well, I want an Aquaman book.
I would like an Aquaman book. I mean, so I wouldn't say no to it, but I guess.
Oh, books that were a disappointment. We'll get back to in a second. But this is what reminded me. I want Jeff Parker on a Flash book.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind that. I was saying Williamson's done with Superman. Jeff Parker Superman would be good.
That would be good, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cy Spurrier's Flash, that first issue was one of my biggest disappointments that I completely forgot about.
It's become a lot of fun.
I hate that first issue.
It's
Yeah.
Oh, Joe, we've not mentioned it. It's only had 3 issues, so it wouldn't really be eligible for anything, really. But Godzilla Kong Justice League has been surprisingly fun. So,
I've read 2 of those, and it's hitting the same beats as the like the mech one and the
kinda, yeah.
and the Jurassic. Yeah,
Yeah.
in a good way. Like all these books are fun.
So far, nothing has topped in that book. Grodd seeing Kong going, "Oh hell yeah!" That moment makes me laugh so hard.
All right. Well, I think we're about done. I think we've successfully done our top 10, picked our best arter, best writer, best artist.
Either of you got any non-DC books from the year that you want to shout out?
No, it's so bad.
Yeah, I've barely touched anything this year. It's been a very busy year, but Joe, it's been a very busy year for video games. I have been playing more video games this year than I have in years, so
That's fair.
I blame that.
Yeah. No, mine just said I only have time for 10 DC books a week.
Yes.
This last couple's been challenged.
Yeah, and plus, speaking of video games, actually, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League's finally coming out in February.
It looks as mediocre as it did 2 years ago.
It looks so mediocre, but it's the sad part is that there's been other DC games in the past where I'm like, okay, I don't really like this game, but I might play it on easy just for the story because I like, I'm a DC guy. But this
Did you play Gotham Knights?
Not yet, but it's been getting almost cheap enough. Like it's been hitting that £15 range.
Here's the thing. I think it's cheaper than that now.
I mean, or maybe I haven't looked.
I think it's like $7.50 on Steam at the minute. But also, it's on Game Pass, so I keep going, oh, maybe I'll play it on Game Pass, and I'm still not playing it.
But if there's one thing, I'm just like, but an evil Superman, we have to kill the Justice League by firing weapons at them. I don't know. It's just the whole thing's a bit.
It just doesn't look very fun.
Nah.
It still looks more fun than the Avengers game, though.
But that's not saying much. That's that's just like saying, oh well, I'd rather sit in this dirty toilet seat than that toilet seat that's got nails sticking out of it.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
So people might see those nails and go, hell yeah. So I
It might
don't
be
know.
more interesting with the nails.
Oh yeah, nothing like drawing blood where you go for a shit to really spice things up.
Yeah. Exactly.
Video games. It's been a while since I could say that.
Maybe it's something you can do at Christmas. It'll make your turd look festive because it's all red.
Ew.
I thought you were talking about Matt playing games
Yeah.
at Christmas first. And then you got to the end of it. I was like, oh, never mind.
No.
Apologies
Yeah.
for that visual, but yes. Well, I guess that wraps up the 8th annual episode of Comics from the Multiverse, and we will see you next year for number 9. So
That felt like a threat.
look forward to that.
Better.
At the end of 2024. Oh, jeez.
Don't say numbers.
I know, they all sound
We've
so
been
bad.
over this. We're in the future number scheme. I don't like it.
I didn't bother reading it, but I saw an article online earlier this week that said 2023, the year that the millennials aged out of the internet, and I'm like, shut up. No, he didn't.
Still here. Yeah, it takes me longer to figure things out, but I'm still here.
Oh dear. Yeah. So anyway, regular episode of the weekend, as per usual. At least I think so. Matt's not said he can't record on New Year's Eve or the day before New Year's Eve, so I assume we're good.
No, I'm still as of yet. I'm still good.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna do it New Year's Eve because I have to work overtime. So that's a no-go.
No, that's Sunday though.
Yes.
Yeah, Saturday's fine.
Yeah.
And Connor, will you be joining us this week?
I'm back in work. It's been a ball. Like in theory, I should get more weekends off next year. They should be rotating us. There was a lot of confusion with who does the rota over the last few months. The problem is, recently I have had a couple of Saturdays off, but they've been Saturdays I've had off for specific things that I've had to go and do, which has really ruled me out of this. You know, like I went to Comic-Con in November.
Right.
You know, that was one of them. I had a gig, stuff like that.
What do you mean you had a gig?
He went to a band.
Okay.
Wasn't his gig.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, wait, I missed Connor's playing music again?
Don't accuse him of having talent.
It's more about having time.
Oh, dear. What's he going to do? Play violin at a concert?
Okay, it wouldn't be the first time.
I mean, he could have.
Forgot we're still on the hockey break. I just went to go see if I missed anything, and there's no games.
Oh, that's
Totally
such
That's
a shame.
the complete opposite of football, where Boxing Day football is like one of the best days of the year because for championship, every team plays. It's not spread out over a weekend. It's not over all the evening slots. It's no, everyone plays today, and it's great, and it's even better because my team won.
Yeah, so I follow a couple teams on there just to, and I've gotten a lot of soccer updates today.
Who are you following?
So I follow Cove because of you, right? And then there's Bournemouth because of the Knights.
Okay. Fulham today,
No, okay, no, we're
and then Arsenal.
We're capping this off right now. We're not continuing this conversation. I'm trying.
Just let me finish telling Connor real quick. Because, Arsenal, because the Rams have that tie.
Yeah.
And then Wrexham because of the show.
Obviously, yeah.
Yes. So those are the ones.
All right. That's been the show, everyone. Regular episode of the weekend with this week's books, the final books of 2023. And then next week we go into whatever 2024 has to bring. So we'll see you then. Obviously, you can support us over at patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. Get some early access and stuff like that. Me and Connor do a video game show once a month, so if you want to hear Connor more often and hear us talking about video games. It means
that Matt doesn't have to listen to us talking about them either.
Yeah, that's also another benefit of having that show. You can do that over there. But that's so thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep reading DC Comics, and remember to never get lost in the Speed Force.
Justice for action.